This game,
Duck just made a bunch of friends who were playing 1-2 at Texas or at Poker House Dallas, and just started inviting, real fun action players, and he curates his lineup every week, and cycles in some new players every week, and we got some familiar faces.
People can change the rules. I just don't. Not going to be at the
Tonight is
table.
one of the most loose aggressive lineups we've had.
He's sick this week.
We have Chase there.
Came back.
Primarily appeal.
Came back.
yeah,
Duck's got his lucky duck shirt on the 2 seat.
got Matt at 3 seats.
Matt has not played this game before. He's a fun player. I played with him. Will in the 4 seat. He's played with us a few times.
And we took a week off last week. Last week we streamed the Dale Hansen charity event. And you guys were playing in the high stakes room in a more private setting. That was the week that the whole Hartsville Casino, Jack Poole, Robbie, Jay Lee versus Garrett Alice came took place. So
Back in the size when we started this out.
It's a block, you guys. It's a, no, it's 195. It's a straddle.
Joe back there last week.
It's just a three blind. It's the third blind.
He is rarely played with us a couple times. Very loose, likes to see a lot of balls. Jay in the 6th seat.
FYI, last week I think 5 out of 6 aces. You lost in this game. Like, I'm done.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, the first week.
Daryl.
Here we go, guys.
Jack 10?
Yeah.
Well, it was a really pure spot though.
So, Dan, you've been kind of watching me stream lately.
It wasn't bad.
What do you think about this feature of showing all the cards, the whole cards, all the players?
Hey, what are they
I'm getting mixed reviews from players. Some say they like it, some say they don't like it. I'm kind of
6 raise for
second
25.
opinion-wise.
7 call.
I think it's fine. The only thing I can think of is
Just a reminder for
9
everyone.
call.
don't wanna see-
1 call.
I don't want to
2
see
call.
like
3 call.
Oh, right. They want,
This is
you
a
know,
10
we
game.
want them to know how big of a
Five
deal it
rolls.
is.
Call if you mean the
First
Well,
game.
that's fine. I mean,
9 call.
helps all the viewers really full.
If you A-call, you just don't get to play again.
Their caps are just so full and open right.
1 check. 3 check. 5 check.
First hand in.
6 check.
Oh,
7
really?
check.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm gonna solo.
Next gen poker
Yeah, I was just
guys.
gonna ask what else.
I'm only gonna check. 3 check.
Anyone else, I won't do it.
4 5.
You get it. Okay,
Sorry.
sorry.
5 6 7
Not
check.
your typical older dude.
Nine
Let's put it that way.
He's an action guy, likes to get his chips in the middle and likes to chase some draws and chase you all the way down to the river.
3 fold.
We did a 9.
5
This
fold.
is not the final table. This is our weekly Thursday 1-2-5 max cap buy-in of $1,000. It's Duck's game. Duck is the individual in the 2 seat right there. Patrick is his name. So this is his weekly game that we have going on here. It's just one of our, I don't want to say bigger games. It's definitely one of our more action-packed ones.
6 fold. 7 fold.
It is
9
designed for
fold.
action.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Curated for fun.
Great.
Hey, Captain Underpairs, thank you for joining in the chat again. What state are you in right now? This is a live stream. This is not a rerun of last night. Rounder, don't call me on this. South Florida, correct? He was a regular this past Saturday in our stream. Pretty much all day. We streamed 8 hours on Saturday, and he was definitely in the chat both times. So thank you again, Rounder, for joining us. One of your next gen boys in the 8th seat, Mr. Jack Jello.
Jack Jello Cash Money.
Or Cash Money, as you know him.
It's like, well, it's $1, $2, $5 straddle. And they're like, oh yeah, sure. This one? Yeah.
And hand number 2.
5 fold.
That's where we see some action going on.
6
too.
raise to 20. 7 fold.
Jail.
8 fold.
And again, this is a $1,000 cap buy-in.
800 too.
9
800, that's correct.
So I think Cash Money is the one to start.
3 raised to 110. 4 fold. 6 fold. 9 fold.
Nose.
Will, if you
Yeah,
fold
it
it two
sound
hands,
muffled again.
two hands in a
Masculine.
row,
He got caught last week. Everybody
amazing.
knows he's
Call.
bluffing.
Better. Robert.
Heads up.
Cup. I think it's the same issue we had last night.
3 bet. 175.
Rounder,
One
bit.
fold.
Can you let me know if you guys can hear me down in the booth if it sounds muffled? May have to put this thing on mute. Get a FaceTime in from Eric from Vegas. Walk us through some technological issues.
isn't big enough to greet him in the dealers in the job. Also, we have a few people who tip the dealers really, really well, so I don't really play.
Hey, you're 0 for 2 on
Hey, if you're gonna get it,
Yeah, yeah. You think you can get a negative defense?
I texted him earlier today and said, hey, I got you on this game.
Yeah, can you put any money in that?
I know.
Daryl, no, I don't even need this.
As long as you don't get aces against my kings.
6 fold.
He doesn't run like Frankie. Frankie runs fear somewhat. For someone that in the best spot.
7 raised to 20. 8 fold.
Now he's 0 for 3.
He's not gonna play. That's why I'm gonna slow roll really hard if I get a chance.
9 call. 1 fold.
Gosh. I knew Patrick stopped talking, so something had to be going on.
2 raised to 95.
Amber Nicole Smith saying, good job, Buckle Big Fish.
4 fold.
I'm
5
not sure
fold.
who she's referring to.
7
So,
call.
Happy Matt, he just 3-bet with sevens in the small blind.
Yeah, it's here for the three greens in. You already called it.
9 call.
On a Jack 8
Is that what you were looking for?
against 8 diamonds and chase.
Sick.
Oh, this is an action game.
yeah, so
I saw this earlier. We
Big
got
Fish flopping the best of the top pair with a redraw flush draw.
7 check.
Regis flopping middle pair. Daryl with a gutty. Duck with mid pair.
9 bet.
Surprising to see Big
125.
Fish check there. I think he was the 3-better out of position, correct? Maybe good to look for a check raise here. Check jam.
2 call.
I already know what happened. Here's that re-raise.
3 raised. 425 total.
What's up? Yes. All right. Okay. Which one?
9 fold.
Test 1 2. 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 I think that's it. We'll find out.
Microphone.
Microphone check. Check. Check.
So the action that happened in this hand, Big Fish made it 425, I believe, on top of 125. Mr.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, sorry about that. I think we are good to go now. Had some audio issues. Called Mr. Eric Anderson in Vegas. Got us squared away, so we will be good to go now. Now, I know that action is over for that hand. Dan, you want to go ahead and explain that hand?
Yeah. So the big check raise with the flush draw from Big Fish and the top pair of jacks with Queen Jack clubs. Mr. Regis folded, who was the C better on the flop, who opened the flop betting, and Patrick called. And then he called the big check raise, thinking that Matt's making a move with just a big flush draw, and he called with second pair of eights. And then he binked a second 8 for trips on the turn, checked to Big Fish, or Big Fish just jammed, and then Patrick calls with his trip 8s. They ran it twice. Patrick held up on the first board, and Big Fish caught his flush on the bottom board. So they chopped Mr. Regis's money.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I was not paying attention to the action because I was trying to make sure get the audio squared away.
Troubleshooting.
Yeah, troubleshooting. Now I know what buttons to press and what buttons not to press. So Zoom PodTrack P8 is the only one that should be checked and ready to go. So for the rest of this stream, Dan and I will be giving you hand analysis and some commentary from this table. So again, for those viewers in the chat, go ahead and like this stream, share it, subscribe to our YouTube page. Ooh, a big flop here a little bit for Duck. Top pair with a redraw to diamond draw. Jack high diamond draw.
It's interesting that the opening raise from Mr. Regis was 50.
Yeah.
He likes to see a lot of flops with face cards.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough board for Regis to continue on. Wisely elects to fold there.
Yeah, he can't really continue there.
I'll tell you what.
With no diamond.
I remember the first time I played with Mr. Regis, and these older gentlemen get this rap that they're tight, they're nitty, and I realized he was not, and I realized I made some pretty nitty folds against him. That's like this guy doesn't have any moves on him, and the more I watched, I said, "Holy smokes, this guy just blew me off." I think the best hand. So,
he's bluffed me a handful of times, and pretty much the only things he says to me is, "I'm coming for you," and I like to gamble.
Yeah,
it was like the first 10 things he said to me was 2 phrases.
And one of the nicest guys, kind of quiet, but he likes to get into the mix.
Oh, super nice guy. So what do we got here? Looks like
Rounder. This is not a VPIP game. This is just a regular our weekly 1-2-5 game. It's a $1,000 cap. We are trending towards live streaming Saturday a VPIP game. Probably last Saturday we did 2 4-hour sessions. I think this Saturday we're gonna do 1 6-hour session. So
wow,
yeah, it's gonna be fun. So I was out of the booth Monday and Tuesday, not feeling well, and came back last night to commentate the $100 weekly KD's final table, and that was a fun one. So.
Will's getting out of line 3-button from the button.
Rounder, I did get some close because actually after this event, I'm going to a networking event in the Dallas area with some of these some high stakes local Dallas poker players, and gonna network and hopefully get some of those guys to come on the stream at some point in the future. Now I'll tell you my shopping story in between hands.
On.
Okay. So I live with Kim. I live with husband and wife, and she knows I'm ready to get back on the dating scene, this and that and the other. She's like, let's go shopping. So we go shopping to the Galleria. 1 store, 2 hours.
Kill me.
Lots of money. It was the most stressful thing. I'd rather.
I haven't been shopping in years. I haven't been shopping in person, live shopping.
No, and it
probably
took like
15 years.
It took like 40 minutes. Just to get my pant size down. Okay.
Oh yeah.
And then so I'm in. You know, once we finally get the pant size down, I'm in there. They're handing me some pants, and then over the door of the changing room, I'm like, shirts are getting thrown over. They're like, try this on with these pants, and I have to walk out. They're like, is that how you stand when you go on, you're gonna ask a girl on a date? I'm like, I'm standing normal. She's like, stand up straight, and I said, oh, okay. So it wasn't awful. It was funny because we were all tired because we went closer to the end of the evening. Oh, here we go. Let's get to this hand here. Daryl with a gutty to straight. Oh, and gets there on the turn.
Binks it.
Don't see how Will's going to be able to let this hand down with 2 pair. Peter Garcia in the chat saying, let's go big fish.
I can see Will putting a raise in here.
Yeah.
This
And again-
could get expensive.
And again, this is, Queen 8 offsuit is typically not a hand you're going to want to defend, right? But this is 1-2-5, and this is Ducks game. This is Texas. So generally don't want to be playing,
Daryl puts in the 3-bet.
many unsuited hands out of position. And I think it's just all going in. Tammy just crossed the Texas line, so you're about an hour and a half away. Well, it depends. Are you coming through Oklahoma City ish? Like, I don't even know where I know you're coming from Iowa, so I'm not sure what part of Oklahoma you're going to. So I'm glad to see that you're having a safe drive. Come straight here to Poker House Dallas. I'll give you a hug. And then you can see one of my new outfits.
You're right. This is getting in.
Yeah.
So that 3-bet there is what are his bluffs in the 3-bet on this turn? It's
yeah, he could have some
if Will
sets.
knows that Daryl is so wide pre-flop calling raises with Queen 8 off.
Yeah.
He's got 16 combinations of Queen 8 off.
Yeah. And that's
Wins the first one. They ran it twice, and he
Did they run
holds
it
up
twice?
both. Yeah.
And that's the thing, I think that's why it's so tough for me to sometimes play like 1-2 in Texas, because I think I'm like, there's not that many combinations of hand that should be beating me here. There's not too many like this guy can't have 10-6, 10-6. If he has 10-6, he should be only paying 10-6 suited. So there's only four combos of that. There's not many combinations of a hand that beat me here. And then he flips over 10-6 offsuit. I'm like, oh, so you call my 3-bet out of position with 10-6 offsuit? He's
It's so hard to range people.
I wanted to gamble. So welcome to Texas Poker. So for those of you in the chat not from Texas, come down here, get you some.
Come get you some.
Come get you some.
Yeah, Will has played with Daryl
Yeah.
plenty and knows he likes to see a lot of flops.
Now, if that's me, I bet you Will could probably find a fold because I usually
Absolutely.
But
For me or you, a 3-bet on that turn is only Queen 8
Yeah.
suited.
Yeah, Queen 8 suited. But for Daryl, he could be he could be overplaying 1 pair or a weak or 2 pair or just anything at that point. Maybe trying to get a bluff. I remember 2 weeks ago, he shoved Ace Jack into Shrek when Shrek turned 5s full and got all. I guess Shrek got all of his money. So
Yep. That'll happen.
Daryl can make moves. And again, he's one of those players, very, very action, likes to see flops, whether it's in position, out of position. He's one of those players that can build a very, very big stack very early on or, has to fire another bullet. But he can always build his stack up because he plays a lot of hands. Around here, playing in Texas it's different. I'll tell you that much. I'll tell you the story the first time. It is the best. I'll tell you the first time I went to Vegas and I played 1-3 at the Bellagio while I was waiting for a 2-5 5-10 table. It was wild.
So we got Chase with an open limp with Ducks. I'm surprised to see Duck not open to 20-25.
And this
with
is
suited ace.
and this is a 3-blind game. So the small blind $1, big blind $2, and under the gun, what would normally be under the gun's $5. So under the gun +1 is now acting as under the gun. So
Correct.
Daryl with a little bit of flush, got have some equity here. Jay with the middle pair. Daryl and Jay, the only ones with pretty much anything on this board. Rich does have bottom pair, but a weak kicker. Don't see him getting too far in this hand. Oh, I stand corrected.
Rich, 6-4 off. Like I said earlier, loves to see a lot of flops. And we'll try to bink something.
Look for a check.
And we'll try to bluff flushes.
Yeah, look for a check raise here. With a weak flush draw. Oh, just going to call.
Jay's got 2 pair also.
Yeah, so this
5
could be-
high flush draw. That is
Now, that's not a very good card because now a paired board brings him some potential, boat possibilities. Daryl picking about $180 here, having to check the river.
I think Rich was very smart to check that river.
The same thing with Jay,
Give
with
up.
2-pair. Yeah, with the board pairing with the king, pretty much counterfeiting your 2-pair.
That is cautious from Jay. Even just limping in on the button with 10-8 or 10-9
So
spades.
Rounder, a few months after I got divorced, went to Vegas. Played 1-3s, waiting for a 2-5-5-10 table. Now, standard open here on 1-2 is 15. If there's a button straddle or straddle, opens 20 generally. So that's general opening size.
20-25.
So
yeah.
I opened to 15, fold, Vegas, like 3 times in a row. Drop it down to 12, fold. Drop it down to 9, fold. 7, one caller. And I said, oh my goodness.
Ugh.
But it was actually, I mean, I made some money out of Vegas because they're all really nitty out there, but got some couple of
sounds
players
boring to
with
me,
some
though.
suited connectors here. Regis 10-9 suited, Chase 8-7 suited. Now here, there is not a straddle in this specific game. So it's 1-2-5. So the $10, what would normally be a straddle in some games, here they treat it as a blind raise, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, that's one of the.
It's going to throw people. Sorry to interrupt you. It's
Yeah.
going to throw people off on the tracker because that under the gun +1. It's going to say bet 10.
Yeah.
That is a blind
Yeah.
10. And I think with the blind 10 on, Big Fish opened this to 50.
Okay. That's what it said because it said 3-bet to 50, which didn't really make sense when there was. Well, it is a blind bet, so it's a 3-bet to 50. So it's essentially acting as a straddle. Definitely helps toward VPIP getting some practice into the VPIP game. Chase
This
now
is
open-ended
a pot. Duck's
just-
getting in.
with a diamond draw, Big Fish with a gutter to Broadway.
Getting such a price for his open-ended. But
Rich with a
big
pair-
Fish on a gutter draw. Betting
think-
big on that turn, just playing his range because he's the original opener to 50.
Yeah, I think
He's got to give up
whoever-
now.
Probably gonna
Rich,
go
Rich
check
is
that-
going to pick this up.
with a pair of 5.
Yeah.
Probably doesn't think he's good, but everybody's laughing at the table. No,
Yeah, Matt rubbing his eyes here. He thinks he made a mistake there. It was 5 ways. He was thinking it was going to get a bunch of folds on that big turn bet. I've seen Rich do that so many times. Making a big call with second pair and either banking a dirty 2-pair or just holding up. He's so sticky with trash because he really values deception.
yeah,
He's like, no one's going to see this coming.
yeah. And that's what. That's
If I have 8-5 off and I'm calling a big raise with third pair of 5s and I bank an 8,
Yeah.
I'm going to win a giant pot. So his implied odds are super valuable. to him.
yeah. Now, I would normally in a pretty wild game if I have if there's a late position bet and I have Jackson, the small blind, big blind, I would 3-bet that under normal circumstances.
Yeah.
But here, if there's like the first limper, if I open or 3-bet jacks out of the small blind, big blind, I'm still gonna get 5-6 calls behind. So I'm gonna have a super bloated pot with just jacks
Yeah.
going to the flop. So sometimes again, it depends on the player profile, the table dynamics, the table configuration.
It's nervy, man.
Yeah.
Mr. Regis with a couple Broadway calls is getting in here. And we got a 3-bet squeeze from Duck. It's out of line for Duck, but I'm pretty sure he saw Lucas, a.k.a. Shrek, do this exact same thing to me last week.
And like I
And
said, ace eight.
I think he's going to get called by Mr. Regis.
Yeah, Mr. Regis doesn't like to fold pre-flop. He likes to see flops.
I don't think I've seen him fold to a 3-bet pre-flop.
Yeah. Chase gonna get in there as well. Gonna go 3 ways to a flop with about 540 in the pot.
Oh, this is so action-like. This is
Chase having a stack to pot ratio 1-to-1. Regis of about 1.5-to-1. Same thing for Duck.
with a flop like this. Duck just has to go with it.
Yeah.
Oh, into two people. Yeah, I'm
Gonna
love this aggression. It's
Yeah.
gonna work.
And if you're gonna 3-bet that hand out of position, now he's in position of these players, but I'm
Oh,
talking
this is-
about 3-bet out of position relative to the action behind him pre-flop.
Yeah, him being positioned here was huge.
Yeah, and you're gonna want to see, but oh wow! And Chase re-rips it with King Deuce suited with just bottom pair. What a bold move!
Oh,
I think Chase knows that this hand is really not good for Duck's 3-bet range. You know, maybe
It's not
putting on a
terrible.
hand
He's basically
again. The jack,
polarizing himself
yeah,
to
super polarized bet with especially
queens plus
yeah,
diamonds.
with the check jam.
Calling ace high. He's just pot committed.
Right there you go. That's Texas poker for you. Chase all in, Duck all in.
Oh, he's got more outs now.
Chase gets there with 2 pair, running it twice.
Oh. Doug can't believe the jam. That is such a ballsy jam on that too.
Ladies and gentlemen, I told you it was going to be an action-packed game.
Wow is right, Rounder.
Joker Jake, why can
Chase will
I'll
make
tell you what,
moves.
Joker Jake, pocket aces in this specific table configuration is not going to hold up under normal
Oh,
circumstances.
those will get cracked half the time.
Yeah, probably more than half the time, probably 60% of the time. Even though you're a pre-flop favorite,
What is this, man?
yeah.
It's insanity. You're right, though. I think that with that small sizing, he would just put Duck on queens plus and probably want a little more protection if that
Tabby
was
with
his
the
3-bet
what the
range.
Duck. I hope you're not watching this and typing while you're actually driving. I hope you're being safe.
Oh,
At least the
I hope
sun's
she
up.
is.
No,
She's an expert driver.
Yeah, that's pretty dope though. Tammy's driving in. Tammy's driving in from Iowa to deal the tournament next week. Please correct me if that's incorrect. But she's a couple hours. She left early this morning, so
Right on.
safe travels.
Looking forward to meeting you.
I thought Cy was supposed to be in this game.
I think you were right. Cy, something came up and
Okay.
he had a work meeting late.
Gotcha.
But you said something earlier when he's calling that when Chase calls that 3-bet and his SPR to that pot is 1-to-1
Yeah.
basically. You pick up 1 pair on the flop. And you got to go with it, right?
Yeah, and here's the thing. Oh, that's Cy right there in the chat.
Oh, hey buddy. Pecan.
And that's the thing, you know, he could be putting Duck on, you know, ace queen, even though he has a king, so they reduce the combinations of ace king. Put it on a hand like maybe ace queen, some overs. You know, obviously a jack would beat him on the flop. So Patrick reloading, going into the Duck.
The Duck fanny.
The Duck
fanny pack.
And then for those of you that don't know, nickname is Duck because his daughter loves ducks, Craig. I think you told me that a couple weeks ago.
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
how's it going, Cy?
He just got a Duck shirt on just randomly somehow.
Well,
And his daughter, it was his favorite shirt, or her favorite shirt, sorry. And
2
now
flush
that's his poker persona.
2 flush draws here in the flop for Rich and for Cash Money Jello from Next Gen. Oh, you're just a passenger. Okay, I didn't know if you were driving or not. So, who's coming down? Who's coming down with you from Iowa? Turn 5 of diamonds, bringing in a backdoor diamond draw. Bringing in a little bit of a gutty for Duck. Doesn't get there. 8 of diamonds on the river. 10 high going to 10-5 going to win it with a pair of 5s on the turn for Cash Money. Jello picking up some.
Yeah, nice small pot. Picks up a pair on the turn with that flush draw he called the flop with.
I think we're about 15 hands in, and we have 4 players over $1,000 already.
Daryl had that pretty much double up against Will when he banked the straight with Queen 8, and Will picked up top 2 on that turn. Stacked Will. Duck just got stacked. And yeah, there's been like 3 big pots so far, and probably the biggest one chopped. I don't like to see that. I don't like going twice. You don't go twice either, do you?
I don't care.
I say I always go once, but then like when my buddy really wants to go twice, I'll be like, yeah, whatever, man.
Here's the thing. Actually, if I ever play on the stream, I always tell people before I say I usually run it twice. Well, I say I don't care if we're on the main floor, but for the stream, I'm running it once.
Yeah.
So just to let them know. So Aaron, thanks for the thumbs up in the chat. Again, for those of you in the chat, like, share, and subscribe this specific stream. Daryl flopping top.
Got a $200 pot already.
Pretty unconnected board.
It should be a third size. It's gonna be
Yeah.
a little bigger. Daryl likes to put the pressure on.
Yeah, and on such
Not too much to charge though.
That's
There's not a lot out there.
There's a pretty big sizing out there. So when you have the board pretty locked up, because not much is going to be calling you here. There's not too. I say there's not too many 3-4s, 4-5s, those types of hands.
Yeah, it's
Right.
disconnected. There's
Yeah.
no draws to call with.
Yeah.
Rich is even going to fold second pair here because he thinks Daryl's so strong.
Yeah, I want to take a smaller sizing to let players potentially try and catch up again.
Oh,
so, but
standard,
yeah.
Standard's 1/3 there.
Yeah, and sometimes even as you go multi-way, 3 or 4 players, you can use even a quarter size. I use that sizing more in tournaments. Sometimes I use it in cash, again, depending on the player profile and the table configuration and just how players generally play, but it is what it is. I think one of the more important things when I talk about strategy and betting and whatnot is bet for value, especially at the low stakes.
Oh, 100%.
Target specific hands that you think they may have and putting them on putting your opponents and players on a specific range.
I'm not doing too much betting for protection these days at 1-2. Especially multi-way. Play a little too conservative multi-way, I think. But have to do a bunch of bluff catching, which I kind of love. It's one of my favorite things. What do we got working here? Daryl's limping in +1 with ace-6 of spades. That's decent. Who picked up anything? That's a trashy board. Daryl's ace high and Regis with a 5. I've seen Regis do this. Well, he'll fire on flops that are real trashy like this, disconnected with a pair. Just assuming that very few people in the field caught any of this, really. Yeah, I have noticed that he just picks good spots for aggression. He basically potted it. Wait.
And Randy makes a rounder makes a good point here. That he usually only runs it once because it feels like if players know you're going to run it twice, there's a probability that they're gonna call, knowing that they're going to have
Oh, absolutely.
a couple chances.
They pick up more equity to
Yeah.
at least chop if they're behind.
And a lot of people ask, it reduces short-term variance, but in the long term, it doesn't make a difference.
It doesn't.
Now, I'll say this. In this specific room, there's like 2 or 3 players. Like, I don't care if he shows me quads. I'm like, rip it.
Right.
Rip it.
I think the tracker is catching up. I will be right back, y'all.
Yep.
Viewers, let us know where you're. I think I actually gave you the first one.
Yeah. Viewers in the chat, let me know where you're tuning in from. Besides Rounder, I know South Florida. Tammy is now in Texas. 24 hours ago, she was in Iowa. Cy, Dallas. Aaron, where are you from? Joker Jake, where are you tuning in from? Can you hear the table talk? Trying to give him a little bit of action out there. This is a fun game. Rocio from Dallas. Jeff G from Eureka. I'm not familiar with where Eureka is. Can you let me know where that is in relation to a bigger city in California? Here we are picking up action with hand 13. Have some diamonds out there. Gotcha, 250 miles north of San Francisco on the coast. Okay. I turned down the table mics a little bit. I'm going to turn them up. Sorry for the sniffles. Battling the allergies and changing weather. Actually had to wear a jacket and some jeans this evening. I would not. Oh, yeah. That drink is not supposed to be on the table. Dan back in the booth. Little bit. There we go.
What a miss.
Not much.
Right on.
It's so funny because we've had a number of viewers come to the chat and we talk up this big game that there's a lot of action. Hasn't been much action the last 4 or 5 hands. Just you wait, ladies and gentlemen. I promise. We're only 40 minutes live into this stream. There's going to be some pretty big pots.
4 or 5 hands.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Give us a break. Now, our 1-2-5 game plays closer to 5-10 or 5-5-10 game here in Texas. I know some of the players that play the 5-5-10 game other places.
Cup of wine makes me nervous, too.
Yeah. Wait, he doesn't know this is a $20,000 plus table, so big computer.
I'll go tell him. How many waiting to get in this game?
Tammy? I'm trying to figure out why the table mics aren't. I may have. It could be one of these where Eric had me turn something off just to make sure we're good.
So Mr. Regis here in +1. Opens at 65, and we got 3 callers. The ace 10. It's good for cash money, but he's going to check this ace-9 off. I like that check. Mr. Regis is going to fire pretty small here. Will with a gut shot. The same gut shot. Also calls. Mr. Regis has backdoor flush.
Yeah.
But they're all crushed. Less than 1% equity here.
See if Cash Money's going to check raise. Wouldn't be surprised. It's a little bit of a connected board.
Oh, no, it's already at the turn. He just flatted.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. Wonder what that turn is. I think we're waiting on the tracker to pick up.
Chop pot? And it is a chop pot.
Might have been an error thinking that Cash Money might have folded that ace-9 to the raise pre-flop. That actually makes sense if he wasn't in there.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry, folks. That was a little bit of a mystery.
Hold on, we're going to try and troubleshoot the overhead mics.
Right, you did actually.
It's an expensive spot.
Did you get 3? It's a good spot to try to get famous. If you make that hero call, you're right. People are going to talk about you. You're going to get a lot of top position. She did. Actually. She got what she wanted, except she didn't think she was going to
6 fold.
Big raise.
Line bet?
It's line, yeah.
And then go back down to the bottom.
I need that.
We still don't get anything.
Oh, that's muted right now.
Fucking weird. Alright, and I'm still not hearing anything, so we can turn that off again. So we are getting stuff. And you didn't unplug anything at the bottom, right?
I did not. So, for the record, Craig said this motherfucker was set up and it wasn't set up.
Okay. Alright.
So I don't know if he was fucking with it, and I had to come and I had to set up the tracker. That's why the ticker was. I missed the ticker, so that's on me.
That's okay. I mean, let's. Yeah, we don't have any table mic at all. Let's go back into that one right there. Oh, wait, it's muted. Unmute the Zoom podcast.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And if I scroll up,
That has to be the table mic. Wait, no, it's not. It's one of ours.
Turn that one off right now. That mic auxiliary.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
I can't hear it because I'm not watching the stream. All right, I'm gonna let you go watch the stream.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, let us know if you can hear us back in the booth. And also let us know if you can hear the table mic. So had to unplug a few things. We'll see if that's going to work or not. Sorry for the few second delay and the missing of a handful of hands. Regis here with a flush draw. Daryl with top pair backdoor diamond draw.
I think we're good on the table mics now because I'm getting a little bit of it in my headset. It's not great.
It could be just a loose cord. For the record, Dan and I are not
Audio engineers? Yeah.
Audio visual engineers. I do number spreadsheets and math because I'm Asian. Because I'm Asian. I'm equal opportunity though, for the record. Eric, don't ever leave us again. Now, actually, I mean, it's really weird because every day we've had an issue, and it's just been a different issue every day. They still can't hear the table. Can hear me. I know. Thanks, Dr. S.
So we still can't hear the table.
I do know as soon as Eric gets back in town from Minnesota, we're going to be installing a bunch of new equipment, getting more cameras, overhead flop cam, better audio-visual cables, and better mics, I believe. So may just have to go. Oh, Duck getting there with a flush draw. Let's see if he can squeak out a little bit of value. Actually, that's a really bad river card for him.
Rich had one of the hands he beat.
Yeah. Not much Rich can do there. There we go on the rotation of the cameras. Here are the chip counts. Again, now 5 players over 5K. 5K, 1K. Wrong game.
Wrong game.
Wrong game. That's going to hopefully be in a couple of weeks once we get all these kinks ironed out. Again, just about 4 or 5 weeks into the stream. We did stream the final table and some of the featured tables from 100K Summer Bash. So it took a couple of weeks off after that. Now we're back in the booth, getting everybody trained here on the action track, or getting trained in the booth, getting trained as dealers to deal this featured table. Duck flopping the best in with a top pair king kicker.
And this folded to chase pre-flop on the button, and he opens to 40 with king 8 offsuit.
Yep.
And this board is multi-way, fine to see bet on. But he's getting 2 callers.
A Duck turns the second nut flush draw to go along with top pair, picking up some significant additional equity. Overwhelming favorite going into the river.
Yeah, I suspect Chase gives up there.
See if you what sizing you can use. Probably gonna want to use a small size and target some.
175. Yeah.
Not much is gonna be calling here. Probably could have. Oh, Chase calls with.
No,
Yeah,
Rich
call.
is bluff catching with a 7 there.
Maybe put Duck on miss heart draws. Very, very, very light call there for a bluff catcher. Only hands you're really beating are ace highs, king highs that don't clear the board.
Duck missing flushes there doesn't make a lot of sense because it checked through the turn.
Right.
And he called Chase's C-bet pre-flop with just backdoor hearts. So that was a wishful thinking type of call.
Ooh, Jay picking up pocket aces in the actual under the gun. That's correct.
Uh-oh.
You're under the gun +1. Gonna be calling with, oh, look at this. Hand developing kings versus aces.
Makes it 250. That is sizable.
It's a really big sizing.
And he is gonna get caught.
Jay's gonna get all his money and it's all going in pre-flop.
Yeah, just rip it here. It's
Yeah.
4x. Well, less than 4x.
Yeah, you can't just really call here, even, yeah. Even though you're going to be out of position with aces, might as well just get it all in.
This is very interesting. That 3-bet sizing from Chase. What is Jay thinking here? I don't think he wants to blow him off some sort of 3-bet bluff as a squeeze with Daryl and Mr. Regis calling behind him. But yeah, Jay's standard plays, just rip it.
Yeah, with the stack size being there and not being very deep relation to the third blind, there's no choice but to get it all in. Chase with the snap call.
And they're running it twice.
Interesting board. Crazy thing is that they're both blocking each other's Broadway outs, double blocking each other's Broadway outs.
Jay just ran it once.
No, they're running it twice.
Oh. Just showed aces. Queen.
Jay, the overwhelming favorite to scoop this pot, and scoops the pot, getting a nice double up to 1.8K. Chase now dropping below 600, just dropping below $650. Probably going to top off. Maybe not. So, what's your theory? What's your perspective on topping off?
Oh, I do it immediately.
Yeah, like
if I lose a pot and I'm down $100, I always top off.
On the 125 game, if I'm like at 450, I'll probably just stay there. But if I get to like 410, 420, I go ahead and just top off to 500. Especially if there's
the $500 cap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if there's lots of action at the table, and I know I can get good value from players if I hit a hand.
Absolutely.
Right. So now if I have some.
My thinking is, if I hit a hand, why would I want to have less in my stack that I wouldn't have to double up with?
Right.
Does that make sense? Unless for some reason I have stayed at a table that has a bunch of short stacks and I'm sitting with 400 at the $500 cap and I'm still the chip leader,
and
then it makes some sense. But like, that's never the case.
Have you guys even
Especially
considered
here.
talking about increasing the caps to maybe like 1,500?
So here's the deal. Duck likes to be inclusive. He likes to change up the lineup every week. He wants to accommodate folks that don't want to play bigger than 1,000. Like, that is kind of what they're most, or their cap of being comfortable with.
Right.
And so if someone gets stacked early and then a guy does match the stack, and now the guy that is only comfortable buying in for 1,000 is
severely
Yeah, is way, low in chips compared to the rest of the table. You don't want that person being uncomfortable. So that was a rule that was set in place, from the outset. And, what happens is, after Duck leaves, I am kind of the second table captain.
Gotcha.
And I say, do we want to make the cap more than 1,000? If anyone says no, we don't do it. If everyone says yes, we do it. And last week it went up to 2,000, I think. But some nights when, I can't stay till 4 in the morning, right?
Right.
Some of these
Sundays
late night
you do.
guys will just be, some of these late night guys will just be like uncapped. Doesn't matter. Interesting openings here. Jay is going to 3-bet from the $5 straddle with ace queen off, which is kind of in his bluffing range.
And all these players have some.
He does that as a squeeze, but for value, it's kind of one of those in the middle.
And I thought I saw Cash Money with pocket nines. Did he fold those? All this action?
He did.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's thinking in this configuration, Jay, in the third blind, the $5 blind, with a raise and callers behind him, it's going to be tighter than ace queen offsuit.
Seems like a small slide
just
here.
The perfect flop for him.
175, 200. That's 1/3 pot. Good sizing. Obviously, nobody.
Chase going to get sticky and call here? I think so.
It says Chase only has 286. I don't know.
You're making a $200 call and you only have.
Yeah, he must.
Your SPR is like 0.3. Surprised he. Okay. Check on that turn. Now it's getting in. And Chase is getting 10-1. Can't really fold. I mean, if he wants to save $286.
And I don't think that's his stack size is correct.
You're thinking he probably topped up before this hand started?
Maybe not necessarily topping off. Well, maybe. I don't know. Camera's stuck, so. Jay all in, going back around to Chase. Probably just gonna. We'll see.
He's only bluff catching. That 3-bet pre-flop from Jay. He has to call. He calls for 10-1 with 4th pair. Jay wins a nice big pot.
2 hands in a row with aces versus Chase. Showing that Chase is no longer game. We'll see if he's going to top off. I wouldn't be surprised if he did. Our VPIPs for this evening read just 76%, Duck 61%. Wow. All the way down to Cash Money. The bottom 3 players just under 30%.
Yeah, Cash Money is the tightest person at this table. That's their game style. The Next Gen boys. And at a table like this, that is not a bad strategy. Pretty tight fold with the 9s, but I get it. I probably would too to Jay. Yeah, that 3-bet pre-flop with ace queen off is close to the bottom of Jay's range. Just a limp from Mr. Regis. We saw him open to 35 with Queen Jack off earlier in the night. Just decides to limp here. A lot of trashy hands. This should just limp around.
We're gonna go Texas heads up to the flop. Looks like we're gonna go 7-handed.
7 ways, yeah. It's fun to commentate 7 ways.
Yeah.
Basically, I just see what the equities are after the flop, and then Chase
Flopping two
flopping
pair.
top 2.
Again, after topping off, hopefully this is a hand he can make some money on. Nobody with much of anything other than Chase. Big fish with a gutter to straight.
He's got the straight flush backdoors.
Yeah, Jay with middle pair king kicker going to get out of there.
Regis wants to hit his gutter too. Ooh, now Regis is double gutted. Got an overbet from Chase here to 200 into 115. I like it. But is Mr. Regis feeling gambly? Looks like he is. And that's what Chase is targeting, right? There's just so many draws out there. You got clubs and hearts and worst 2 pairs.
Regis with some slim equity.
And he hit it. Nope, never mind. He needed the 10.
Now that's not a really good card for Chase.
Wait, he wasn't double gutted. Sorry, folks.
Let's see if he's going to bet for value. Just check down and see what kind of potential. He's going to jam it. Overbets the pot.
I still think this is going for thin value.
Yeah. I mean, not much worse is going to call you unless he thinks that unless Mr. Regis has a weaker 2 pair. I mean, you don't have any clubs in your hand. It's a really dangerous bet to overbet the pot.
That is one of the worst rivers he could have seen.
Yeah. You're unblocking all club draws. You're unblocking all straight draws. I mean, if Regis would have got there on the river, you check call, that would, that's a.
That is going really thin.
Yeah, you could really value own yourself with that type of play. Because not much worse is going to call you.
You're supposed to value in yourself like
in Texas, Poker House Dallas specifically.
30% of the time
right.
or something. Is the overbet there him turning 2 pair into a bluff?
I don't know.
I'm going to ask him. That's an interesting overbet on that river.
It's typically not a board you overbet on unless he's targeting 1 pairs that he thinks that Regis
Just
would
make
maybe
it look
call.
like a
yeah,
bluff.
and
Just
that
basically depolarize.
Yeah.
Well, your bet size is polarized, but your hand is depolarized, so you want to make it look like a bluff to get bluff caught with worse.
Yeah,
See
look
what
at
I'm saying?
Jay. Yeah, look at Jay running hot. Pocket aces, ace queen now picking up pocket.
Jay doesn't deserve this. Regis is all in. He's got 825 back.
It's a pretty sizable 3-bet out of the small blind. No, okay. So Regis opens under the gun. Duck flats.
Yeah, it's 150 in. He makes it 350. I think that's a good size with queens. Let's say you want to go 4x out of position in a 3-bet and then add 75. So you're already at 300.
Yeah, and you can adjust those sizing based off the action behind. If you have loose action players behind, you can size up, try to get some value for them, especially with a hand like pocket queens. Duck doesn't know how much.
I think Duck is doing some math on.
Yeah, unfortunately.
With his equity here, he's actually getting the right price.
Yeah, it's a good fold.
I fold there too with King 10. Well.
Going to the flop, a pot of $785. Were you just assuming it's a non-ace, non-king board? It's probably going to. Ooh. That's a board that can really save him. Let's look for Jay to see bet his entire range here. See what kind of sizing he uses. Very small sizing.
I think he did it to induce this jam.
No, and that's the thing. When you bet really small like that,
He made it 100, and
Yeah,
Mr.
just that-
Regis only had 5 left, 550, and he can't go.
And he
anywhere.
calls.
Yeah, and he's just a huge favorite.
drawing to jack and a jack only, 3 jacks left in the deck.
Jay doesn't deserve this.
Yeah, and Jay picking up another big pot. Starting this feature table off with 1,000, now up to about 3.8 thousand.
I think you ran really well last week too, late night.
That's the thing. That's playing good and running good are very, very important.
It's easy to play good when you're running good.
That's true.
It's easy to
Very
play bad
true.
when you're running bad. It's all interconnected, Ed. We're all just trying to figure it out.
Touche. Touche. Had some crazy action the past 5 hands now, 23 hands into this evening, about a little over into the stream. Jay now the chip leader. Nearly 3.8K. A lot of the other players hovering right around the 1K mark. Nick in the 4 seat about 1,000. Looks like Matt with about 1,000. Rich in the 5 seat under, I think it looks like he has some black chips, maybe 600-700. Jello Cash Money in the 8 seat, about 600-700 as well. So let's see. Cash Money about 900. Big Fish, Matt in the 3 seat, just under a K. The lowest chips, yeah, it's Cash Money about 900. So this is definitely a game you're going to want to top off on. You're going to probably want to bring 3 bullets to this game with how loose pre-flop action is and post-flop action as well. So yeah, viewers in the chat, we tried to troubleshoot. Trying to troubleshoot the table mics. Unfortunately, wasn't able to. Let us know what you think in the chat about this game. Would you want to play this game? I know I want to play it pretty soon. With me in the booth so much and working, not really getting the chance to play as much as I normally do. 4 ways to this flop, where both Regis and Will flop middle pair. Rich with a gutty to Broadway. Eight of spades brings backdoor spades for Rich as well, with the only spade left in his hand. Rich gonna bet 150, 225. 2 blacks and a green. Decent sized value bet. Being on a draw. Gonna force Regis to fold. Probably gonna force Will to fold as well. Rich hasn't been getting in too many pots. Yeah, unless Will is putting Rich specifically on a draw. Now that ace is actually a bad card for Rich. Gonna reduce his ace combinations. Gonna get it all in on the river. 535 into a pot of, was it 500 or so? Gonna be really tough for Will to make this call now with the board pairing and spades out there. Gonna fold a king. Pulling the best hand. Oh, no, he did call. I think they checked the river, actually. And again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining on the chat here. It's 7:45 p.m. this Thursday evening. Now, I've commented this table about 3 or 4 times now. And this is the tamest the stream has been. Will the 4? Yep, that's right. It's a 4 bet again. This game doesn't allow a straddle on this 3 blind game, so they automatically make under the gun plus 1. What would normally be under the gun plus 1, just a blind raise to 10. So you're going to see a lot of players blind raise. Wow, what a flop for Regis, flopping top 2. Little bit of a connected board, some straight draws, some club draws. Now again, you haven't seen Mr. Regis leading into so many pots, more kind of taking the check call line. But here actually electing to lead out the turn, turning after flopping 2 pair. Gonna get Will to call with just middle pair. Let's see what sizing Regis is used here on the river. Let's see what size he's going to use as he bets for value. It looks like about 300 in the 46. 350. Yeah, but 65% pot. Wow, and a really, really light call. Yeah, it's bluff catching again. Regis hasn't, so, you know, I made a comment that Regis likes to kind of check call, but he led all 3 streets. He was the pre-flop aggressor, leads all streets. Will making a very, very light call with just middle pair. Unless he specifically put Regis on a busted flush draw. Yeah, Rounder, I agree. Again, Regis has taken a lot more check call lines, or, you know, call lines. For him to triple barrel there, Will should know and take that into account that he hasn't really been triple barreling. Now, I don't see Regis with a lot of triple barrel bluffs. Now, I'm not saying he doesn't bluff. I just don't see Regis having a triple barrel bluff in him. So hopefully we'll take that into the memory bank, knowing that triple barrel in there with top 2. Again, not sure what will put him on that specific hand.
Oh, busted flush draws.
Yeah, and like I said, Regis, again, he likes to get in a lot of hands. Don't get me wrong, I've seen him bluff, but I've never seen him triple barrel bluff on the stream before.
Right. I bet you Will has seen him play a flush draw aggressively.
Oh, wow. Chase flopping the best of it.
Yeesh. Very disguised.
Yeah, very disguised. Probably going to want to slow play this. Maybe he's going to lead out Let's see. Regis doesn't have much of anything. Now, Big Fish was the pre-flop aggressor. Look for Chase to
this
check
is a
here.
board he could,
Yeah.
not with his specific hand, but with his range, c-betting this board is, I've seen it done.
Yeah.
But he's,
Big Fish making a pretty sizable bet.
oh, he does. Put a big c-bet with 2 overs, no back door.
That's 105, yeah.
I
And
think
not much is calling here.
Chase is good.
Oh, wow. What a bad card for Big Fish. Again, hopefully the spades will...
Oh, he checked it back, yeah. That's an action killer at 4th spade.
Yeah.
Chasing getting paid off here.
Yeah. Let's see. Probably want to use a small sizing here.
Big Fish fold here?
Oh, maybe he wants to use a big size to potentially target any spade. Yeah.
300.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, specifically targeting any single spade holding there, obviously with there's just too many combos of hands that Matt's losing to here. Don't see how he can make the call with just one pair. Well, two pair with aces. I'm sorry, Jackson 6 with ace kicker, but a lot of hands beat you there, and a good fold by Matt Big Fish there.
Real tough to call to that sizing with 4 spades out there, just top. Jay is the big stack, 3.8K.
Yeah, having a really good evening this evening. In for 1K, almost quadrupling his buy-in. Now in the outer tables, we have our weekly Thursday Chris Mays $200 buy-in, 3K guaranteed.
Hand 28. Rich under the gun, ace 9 clubs makes it 30. Nice healthy seat, 6x. First to act. Not sure. Chase is seeing a flop. Ace 7 offsuit. On the button. Will's going to defend. Will's got the best of it here with top pair. Pretty wet board, though. Rich has got a gutter. And Rich hits his gutter. That's nice. Bets 3/4 of the pot. Chase gets out of the way with bottom pair, and Will is probably folding here. Oh no, Will called. Actually, yeah, I don't think I should be surprised by that. So many draws out there. Rich being so loose, having that table image. Was it 75 into 95? Nice little pot. We're getting some tender bots in our chat here. Is that what that is? I kind of like we spelled Jay's name wrong. It's J-A-E. Yeah, but if the audience could tell, Jay and I are rivals and we battle a lot. And I like to give him a hard time. But we got some hands in here. We got 8s, 9s, King Jack, spade, or diamonds, Ace King. I think we're a little behind. This was a... Oh, wow. This was just a blind raise to 10 under the gun. Chase just flats from the cutoff. Duck calls. Big Fish 3-bets to 55, and Jay puts in the 4-bet and is going to get either called or 5-bet here. This would be really interesting. Oh, yeah, Chase rips it. Love it. Jay's going to have a tough call. Big Fish definitely needs to get out. Well, he's only got 865 left. Does he want to go 3 ways? Gets out of the way. I think to this size, Jay finds a fold because he limped. Limping to the blind 10 in the cutoff and then ripping it as a 5-bet is suspicious. He's right to think this through for sure. I wonder how much Ace King Jay puts in Chase's limp jam range here. Was on the cutoff. Finds a fold. He was racing, but to 7x, what was it? Jay made it $200 in the 4-bet pre, and then Chase ripped it in for 1.4. Yeah, it's just a good chunkier stack to race with in a cash game. Pick another spot. Good play, Chase. Chase's limp 5-bet range. Oh, I'm sorry, folks. It wasn't actually a 5-bet because there was a blind 10 on, so the open to 75 from Big Fish with 8s was just an open, not a 3-bet. So Jay's raise was a 3-bet, and Chase's was a cold 4 jam from the cutoff. Now Jay knows that Chase is loose aggressive, pretty wide pre-flop. That Ace King is probably a jam for value in Chase's mind. What do we have here? Next Gen Cash Money opens to 20, 4x with Ace 4 Hearts. Under the gun +1, which is
We've got 2 empty seats now, and I can't see my phone, so I can't.
all right. I'm back, folks. Daryl's making a big move here. Wow. Putting Duck in a lot of pressure. What a dry board. 3-5-10. Was he only repping sets here? Jay definitely doesn't know how much equity he has here. Yeah, Duck got out of the way with top pair, second kicker. It's just one of those boards where there's no bluffs, really. Like 6-4 is the only bluff. And Daryl is just sensing weakness and putting max pressure on a razor on a board like this, just with King 10 and backdoor hearts. Gotta admire the aggression. Chase picking up top 2. Jay's got a gutter here, and Mr. Regis is firing out with a 6. Sensing weakness, he's going to get his hand caught in the cookie jar here. Jay's coming along for a 10. Oh my. Banks it and checks. Looking to put in a big check raise. Is Mr. Regis going to bluff at this? Waves the white flag smartly. Chase is betting his middle 2 for value and is going to promptly get check raised here to, say, 400. Makes it big, 650. Making this look like a bluff.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, sorry, I am back in the booth. Had some trying to fix that table mic issue again. Unfortunately, wasn't able to, so apologies. But I am now alone in the booth, flying solo. Eddie Batinga here. Thank you again for joining Poker House Dallas, where tonight we're streaming the 125 1000 max Ducks game. Mr. Dan Simone had to jump out of the booth. They needed to fill this role at this table. So now he will be jumping in about 10 minutes, give or take. I think he's going to be sitting in the 3 seat. I don't even remember who was in the 3 seat. And sorry, Rocio. Where's Big Fish? I don't know. Did he get stacked? Or did he have to leave? Sometimes I wasn't sure whether or not he had to leave again. I did not see Matt on the floor when I had to step out. Well, fixing the audio issue, then I had to step out as well. So for the rest of the evening, you ladies and gentlemen, are going to be stuck with me. Peter Garcia, I guess he's out, and it looks like Chasing the 1 seed is out as well. So I think now they're 7-handed now. I think they're going to be back to 8-handed once Dan fills up a seat at this table. Gonna have Mr. Big Brian in the box. Very one of our best dealers here. I know a couple years ago he dealt some of these big tournaments down in the Bahamas. I think the Party Poker tournament. I actually sent him a clip. I'm a big fan of Adrian Mateos from Spain. Young guy, I think he's 27 with over 27, almost $30 million. Specifically only a no limit hold'em actually. So a lot of these players that are in the top 20, top 10, top 15 play mixed games like Daniel Negreanu, Phil Ivey, Stephen Chidwick. Those kind of guys play multi variants of poker. Adrian Mateos, probably my favorite no limit hold player. He's the guy that got me really playing tournament poker, where I learned. If you guys are wanting to learn how to play tournament poker, take a look at Inside the Mind of a Pro. It's a really neat series that they do. It's Team Winamax out of Europe. Have some very high name players that, if you're not familiar with some of the European players, you'll get to know them through this series. So check out Inside the Mind of a Pro, specifically Adrian Mateos. The 2019 Party Poker Caribbean Championship, where he won back-to-back events. I think he won a 50K high roll and then won the 10K main event for over $1 million. So those of you in the chat, are you guys tournament guys and girls? Tournament player, cash player? Let me know. Tell you what, I wouldn't do very good at this game, this cash game. My VPIP is probably going to be around 20-25%. Now, tournament's totally different thing. Now, on this flop and turn, cash money with the best of it, with top two, with also a flush draw, jack high flush draw. Gonna bet 100 into 166. About 2/3 pot. Regis with the unknown hit and comes over the top. Raises to 300. look for Cash Money to get all his chips in here. Again, not knowing what Regis has, stack to pot ratio is going to be about less than 0.5, about 0.45. Yeah, again, Regis hasn't. Oh. Let's see here. Looks like Jack with the best hand there. I guess he's kind of a little, maybe he was a little worried. But again, Regis hasn't been taking those kind of like aggressive lines. Again, Randy, you and I talked about him taking these kind of check call lines. So for him to raise on the turn, probably scared Cash Money off a little bit from ripping it there. Maybe concerned that Regis was already there with a flush draw. Again, with Cash Money having the Jack of Clubs, going to reduce the likelihood of club holdings with Regis in the 9 seat. Regis had 7-7. Did he really? I don't. Oh, I couldn't tell. Oh, you saw it before the tracker came. Okay, thanks. Yeah, I think I had just stepped back into the booth right when this hand took place and unmuting the mics and whatnot. Where are you at, Si? I thought you were going to be playing in this again, and I told you were going to be in this lineup. Rhino, you and I can play in the low VPIP game. That game could be the person with the lowest VPIP gets a bounty from the table. I think I'd win that one. Not in the tournament, though, in cash. I play more European style when I'm in the tournament. Gotcha, Si. Get some of that work done, Bubba. See you on the felt soon. Rounder, I'll tell you what, if you ever want to make the trip down here to Texas, I'm pretty sure we can work out a deal with you to get you a hotel there. I don't know yet. I think I talked Saturday with Matt that they are working on a hotel partnership, a couple of hotel partnerships, one with mid-price, one of a higher price for these tournament players that want to come into these birthday bash, Danielle's birthday bash towards the end of the month. Also, talked about putting together a big tournament series, about a 10-day series. Oh, here we go. Cash Money out of the small blind with Kings. Gonna 3-bet to $150. It's pretty big sizing there. And again, I talked about this earlier. If you know a lot of these players are splashy and they're gonna call light, you're gonna want to get into some pots. You know, you have your quote-unquote standard 3-bet size of 4x out of the small blind, plus 1, plus 2, depending on how many limpers were behind. You can size up a little bit knowing that this is a sticky table to get additional value from these players, especially players like Regis, Daryl. Jay hasn't been getting too out of line. Duck hasn't been getting too terribly out of line, although making a very speculative call out of the third blind. Oh, okay, I guess he didn't call. I'll tell you what, Rounder, I promise that within the next 4 weeks, we will have a hotel partnership. And if I'm wrong, so it's October 13th. By November 13th, if we do not have a hotel partnership, whenever you come down here, I will buy your first $500 bullet. Just for the record, rather, that's on air. That's live. It's going to be forever. So you can hold that against it. Verbal is binding, sir. Cash Money with the best hand, locked it up with pocket kings. Let's see what he decides to do here on the turn. If maybe you're going to try to target lower pairs, maybe a hand like pocket 9s, pocket 10s, maybe a hand like ace jack that Regis floated the flop with. $350, about 55% pot. Good value size bet from Cash Money. I think he used Cash as one of his nicknames in an earlier stream, so I don't know if it's gonna go by his real name, gonna go by Jelly, gonna go by Jello. Man of many nicknames. Tammy, so that is in discussion, putting together I don't wanna rock the boat. Rounder, it's Texas. There's like I can walk outside and throw a rock and find a good barbecue spot. That's not quite true, but there's some pretty good spots here in Dallas. So Tammy, that I don't want to speculate on when it's going to be. So, but I know there are in talks with the management, okay, that they, you know, after this, they put together a very successful they put together a very successful 100K Summer Bash guarantee that hit a prize pool over $200,000. We do now have a 150K Danielle birthday bash that will be starting next Thursday. Going to be having satellites starting this Saturday every day. $120, $130 to get in, guaranteeing 1 in 5 seats to that tournament. I have one bullet. Actually, I have 2 bullets at thing, so I'm hoping I get a chance to play rather than commentating. So the last tournament was kind of a interesting way I've gotten in the booth, and I'll tell that story at the conclusion of this hand. Rich under the gun, raising the 15. Daryl gonna call. Now moving over to the 7th seat, or was he in the 7th? Oh, he was always in the 7th seat. Sorry, calling very speculative hand. Queen 3 suited. He's got outs. Yeah, Tammy just moved to Texas. Everything's bigger in Texas and better in Texas. Duck flopping with the best of them with bottom pair and the royal flush redraw. Tons of outs. Now, Rich does have top pair of a weak kicker, so okay, I thought he was betting right there. Oh, sorry. I saw Jay counting out chips and handing it over to Mr. Regis. So I thought he was in the hand, got confused. Rich gonna push his ace now. Multi-way with this type of board with an ace, with no spade. That's probably a hand you typically want to just check. Yeah, you may have the best hand right here, but there's so many draws out there. And again, if you want to deny equity against some spade draws, again, if somebody has a spade draw, they're probably going to call. So there's a couple of different ways that you can attack this board. If he had a better kicker, I would have been okay with it. Again, with him not having any diamonds. Yeah, so Duck raising it to $275 over the $60 bet from Rich. Let's see if Daryl's going to call. Don't think he can. No, that look from Daryl says he wanted to make a call. Not going to get there. Let's see if Regis is going to want to get sticky out of position with just bottom pair and no backdoor draws of any kind. Taking a look at his cards. Going to reset the camera. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. So Tammy, going back to that tent, we had talked about it. We have the Daniel's birthday bash, and I know they're going to talk about, see how that tournament goes. Hoping that tournament's about 250K or so, give or take. And then kind of some of the ideas for this multi-event tournament. And again, I don't know stakes, I don't know buy-ins, I don't know guarantees, but maybe having something like a quote-unquote kickoff tournament, you know, ending with the main event and sprinkle in between. Maybe we're talking about tag team and women's event, seniors event, PLO event, horse event, all types of different games that we can probably squeeze in there. I know if they had a horse game or a triple draw game or some of these games that you see at the PPC WSOP Championship, I would definitely be playing those. So. Tammy, do you play yourself, Tammy? Do you play or you're just a dealer? If you play, do you play tournaments, cash, mixed games? I love the mixed games. Tuesdays here at Poker House, we have a 15-30 mixed game. Play a little bit of everything. Play all the horse games with the exception of Limit Hold'em. Some Deuce to 7 triple draw, Ace to 5, Badoogie, Badesi, Dramaha, Oma Jack, Raz Deucey. Some of them I think they just make up along the way. They just write a little placard on a sticky note. I tell you what, for all you DJs in the chat, when I was in Vegas for 2 months this summer playing WSOP, now I didn't play like every event or anything, but I was just there. I played, I don't remember how many events I played, but I was just out there because it was kind of like a bucket list type thing for me, so I did that. Oh, misdeal, accidentally, Brian misdealing 3 cards to Jay in the 6th seat. You play, but not well. So basically, you're saying you participate. So what people ask me, because I started playing pickleball, right? People are like, are you any good? I said, you know, I participate in pickleball. I don't actually play pickleball, but I'm not terrible at pickleball. I am hurting the next day. Have to get a massage. See, Randall dabbles. Okay, Tammy, you like Omaha high-low? Okay. Like Omaha 8 or better? Or Big O? Tammy, if we can get an Omaha high-low game, especially Omaha 8 or better, that is, out of all the poker variants, that's probably my most favoritist. And that's not even a word. For the purpose of the stream, it is. Going back to this hand, not too much. Pickleball is fun rounder. But I don't... you don't have to answer this on the stream, but how old are you? I just turned 39, okay? And when you start getting to my age, your body starts to hurt, Bubba. It ain't the best. I'm sorry for the spam. I have no control over that. Well, I think I do. I just don't know how to do it. Thank you, Tammy. Hashtag favorite is Yahtzee. Tell me, how close are you now? Once I hit 30, I notice it takes a lot longer to recover. You know, so ain't that the truth? Here's our cumulative winnings. Jay, the biggest winner. No one yet with over 1,000 outside, with the exception of Jay. So I promise a loose and splashy game. This is definitely the least splashiest I've ever seen this game play. Cash money with kings? Did I miss that hand? You're 25 minutes away from Poker House? Yeah, no, there's actually not an accident. If you're on 35, they have, they unfortunately have the exit to Regal Row, which is the exit you have to take for Poker House, blocked off, unless they move some of those exits. So what normally was a 25-minute drive for me from the apartment ended up taking about 40 minutes. Oh, he was at the table and it folded. Womp, womp, womp. And there's Miss Andre in the background, one of our newer servers here doing a great job. Usually works in the late night shift. So I don't want to call out the people that I live with in the event that they are listening, because I don't want to call anybody out because I love them. Last night, I was in the stream, commentated the final table, went out to eat, went back to the apartment. I live with them. Deadbolt on. Hiya. So guess where I went? This is like about 1:15 in the morning. I came back to Poker House and slept in the players' lounge till 5:15 this morning. Got up and worked and have been up since. And this is a guy that was coming off a bad head cold and not feeling well, having to sleep Monday and Tuesday, and having to skip out on commentating the 1-2-500 game on Tuesday. So if it sounds like I have a head cold, oh, sorry, didn't mean to call you out. Oh, just kidding. Hey. Hey, Hayden. How's it going? I'm going to be leaving soon. Actually, I'll probably head over there after this. I had a partner in crime in the booth with me and no longer running solo. I didn't want to knock her call, you know, because they have a little one. I wanted to be respectful. And I said, well, here's the thing. Part of the main reason I had to come back is because I left my charger in the booth last night, and my phone was like on 16%. And I said, well, they have really comfortable couches. I'm known, like, I'll come here early in the morning. Sometimes I'll work here if I don't have to take a phone call. Oh, we got a hand developing. Dan, who was in the booth with me, getting into the mix here, raising to $30. Hijack. Came back about I got back here about 1:30. Took a little power nap. Got up and worked. Been up since. Oh, wow. The car is passed upside down. That's not good. Let's see what sizing Dan uses here. Now the turn brings in a second backdoor flush draw. Both players having top pair. Dan having out kicked by one. Rich gonna make the call. See what the river brings. Okay, so now the front door flush draw gets there. Let's see if he uses a small sizing or a big sizing. Gonna rip it for value. Gonna put Rich in a tough spot here. It's gonna be tough. Gonna be tough for Rich to make this call with just one pair holding. It's a 4-line to the straight, although Dan shouldn't have many deuces in his range. Takes down the pot. Welcome to the table, Dan. Maybe you should have been this game all along instead of in the booth with me. Gosh, his head cold is killing me. Oh, did Frankie jump in this game? Looks like maybe we have two players. Again, this is a 1-2-5 game. It's a 3-blind game. Now, if you are not at the table, you're still automatically going to get blinded in on your small, big, and third blind. They do not allow straddles in this game. So what you can do is a blind raise to 10 and then go from there. So unlike the 2-5 game that we had this past weekend, or even the 1-2 game, under the gun with normally in the straddle position, no straddles in this game. Gonna have just do a blind raise. Frankie in the 1 seat again. I just went solo in the booth not that long ago. So Will here with top pair, top kicker. Pretty connected board. Lots of draws, straight draws, heart draws. Probably going to see Frankie call one street to see if he can drill a heart. And he does call. Now pairing the board. He's probably going to go check bet full is what I'm thinking here. Got 2 new players. And again, Dan in the 2 seat or the 3 seat and Frankie in the 1 seat. I believe Chase was in the 1 seat earlier, and I don't know if he got felted or not. I believe this is the first time, actually the second time that I've been in the booth alone. So, ladies and gentlemen in the chat, you're going to be stuck with me for the next hour, hour and a half. Now this stream started a little bit later than normal. We try to get these streams going at about 6 o'clock. Well, the game tries to get started about 5:45 with a 15-minute delay. Try to get the live stream kickoff right at 6 o'clock. The stream didn't start till about 6:30 p.m., give or take. So I don't think we're going to try to go to overtime tonight. I'd originally let them know that I was only going to be able to commentate for a portion of it, but it looks like they really need to be in the booth due to some outside circumstances. So I will be running the ship. So we're going to try this format out where everybody sees their whole cards. Oh. Duck with aces under the gun. Gets 3-bet by Will. +2 with ace-5 offsuit. There we go. Wouldn't see surprised to see him come back in the cold 4-bet. Now, ace-5 offsuit, middle position. It's not a hand you typically 3-bet with. If you're gonna 3-bet ace-5, you're gonna want to do it of the suited variety. We'll just trying to make a move. Getting Will to fold with the 4-bet. Again, you don't see a lot of 4-bets. Well, in this game, you see a lot of 4-bets. Here goes some notable hands. Will in the 4 seat. Ace deuce. Suited wheel ace. Regis in the small blind with jacks.
Regis picking up a nice little pot, small pot, pre-flop. Just under $90. Here's our aggression frequencies. Dan with 41%. Again, only probably being at the table about 3 or 4 hands. Jay, 39%. Duck, 38%, all the way down to Cash Money. And Frankie in the 20s. Now, relative to past streams and playing at this table, so I've played at this table. Well, not at this feature table. I played with a lot of these players at this Thursday game. And so there's a lot, that aggression frequencies for some of those players seems relatively small compared to what I'm used to seeing. Again, this is a pretty tame, it's probably the most tame I've seen this table. Again, there are some new players to this stream this week. I think Will in the 4 seat. I think Frankie's played this. I know Jello hasn't, or Cash Money hasn't played this. I think some of the 3 regulars that you see playing this on a more normal basis are Patrick, Daryl, Dan. Kind of been jumping in and out of the booth, back and forth. Dan with the best hand here still against Duck with 10s on a 7-7 ace board. I'm gonna see bet small, 25. Show him the 10s. About 40% pot. And yes, Nick, GTO Nick, this is Eddie in the booth by myself. Why aren't you in the game? Here's our cumulative winnings. Jay with the biggest win, 3,500. No one else over $1,000, cumulative winning wise. Regis with the biggest loss so far, just a little over 2,000. Hey, Nick, doing well yourself? Frankie looking to get into the action, has been kind of quiet since he joined this featured table. Now sitting in the 1 seat. Regis opening King Jack offsuit in the cutoff to 50. Frankie gonna take a small sizing 3-bet on the button to 100. Oh no, Nick. I got pretty beat up over the weekend. I actually slept all day Monday and Tuesday. Oh wow, Regis. Well, this is gonna be such an action flop. Regis flopping the joint for Brideway, and Frankie flopping 2 pair, top 2 pair. Let's see if Regis is just gonna call here. If he's gonna check raise. Just gonna smooth call. Hoping that Frankie, that's a really bad card. That's gonna kill a lot of action. See if Chenk is just gonna check here. Definitely got enough showdown value with his hand. Now the board pairs. This is a terrible run up for both players. You can see this going check, check. Let's see if Frankie's gonna want to get a little spicy with his hand. Yeah, and he knows. Both players know. And actually, that was probably the best run out for Frankie there. Losing the minimum against Regis. Could have lost a lot more if it was a different run out. Yeah, definitely lost the minimum. Bad run out for Regis. Good run out for Frankie. Lost the minimum. Still had enough showdown value there. Nick, how's Cabo? Yeah, Nick. I'll tell you what. I'll when I get to a position, I'll look you up. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna remember how to spell that last name. That's too many consonants and vowels for me to remember. You got an O and an A and an I in there. Just kidding. But I'll definitely when the stream's over, I'll get you on Facebook. Actually, you know what? I'll probably get your number from one of these guys. Regis 3-betting pocket nines. See if Daryl's gonna get a little sticky with 7-6. Out of position to Regis. Gonna take this hand to the flop. See if Regis gonna make a bet here. If he does, like, see what sizing he uses. If he's gonna use a small sizing or a big sizing. A big sizing bets 275. Will do, Nick. I'll get it from Patrick. Thank you. Regis gonna limp middle position with Queen 6 offsuit. I foresee a multi-way action. Oh. There may have been a 4-bet. I don't recall any 5-bet shoves yet. I think there's been a couple 4-bets pre-flop. Some of these players with a little bit of piece of this action will induct both flopping top pair, Rich with middle pair, Daryl with a gutter to Broadway. Duck betting 175. Going to be going to the turn. Will outpit by 1. Rich now turning Broadway draw. Duck gonna continue to fire. Gonna bet 325 into a pot of 855. And a good fold by Will here. And a hand like Ace 8, you can't feel too good about your kicker. Putting Duck maybe on some 2-pair combos. Maybe a hand like Ace Queen. You know, Duck can have a lot of the Jack 10s, Ace 10s, Ace Jacks. Ace 8 is just not, especially with one person behind that called. Duck barreling 2 streets, getting Rich to fold Broadway draw, picks up a nice little pot. Increases his stack to 615. Now, I know it shows that Cash Money has the lowest pre-flop raise at 8%. But he hasn't been at the table for about 15, 20 minutes now, so. No, Nick, I've been saying in this chat, obviously you've played this live stream and you get a little splashy yourself. This is probably the most tame I've seen this game played. So we're not seeing a ton of multi-way flops. So there were a couple of hands where maybe 6 or 7, but not too many more than 3. This is not match the stack, Kim. This is a 1-2-5, 1,000 cap. This game. Our Saturday game is going to be a 2-5 match the stack, and I believe I need to confirm this with Danielle and Matt as they come back from Vegas. Eric is in Minnesota, and I'll probably have a follow-up phone call with him. We generally like to have the talk. Oh, let me get into this hand. Frankie with Jacks, middle position with Mason to 45. Probably going to get Daryl a call with this. Oh, and I think against other players, Daryl makes that call, but against Frankie, oh, okay, there was a 3-bet. The 3-bet to 220 from the button. Suited wheel ace by Will. Got a little splashy pre-flop. Frankie rejams. Good rejam, knowing that Will was trying to make a move on the button. Kim, I'm pretty sure. So usually after every stream, we kind of talk about, a handful of us here at Poker House. We talk about the stream. We talk about what went well, what didn't go well, some improvements that we can make. And I have a tendency to always let the camera get stuck. So every time there's a camera stuck angle, that's generally my fault. So I take full responsibility for that. But we talking. I believe we are going to have a 2-5 match to stack, and it's going to be a VPIP game, Kim. And based off the feedback we have gotten, I think it's going to be a long list. I know Hayden played the first batch and they had it at feeder table. The second batch that played from 6 to 10, I'm not sure what it was. I forgot what time it was, 6 to 10. They had a feeder table of like 13 players. So everybody's gotten a word about that VPIP game on Saturday. So I think we've tried some different ways to implement the VPIP game. Last Saturday we didn't have enough players in the feeder table to run the VPIP game at first. But now, again, this game's been getting a lot of attraction across the DFW area. So everybody wants to be a part of that game. Yeah, Rander, it's a fun game. I know you were in the chat last Saturday kind of commenting on it. Yeah, that feeder table had they had 11 players that were physically here and the 2 additional players that are on the wait list on the way back here. Nick, flop cam's here. It's just not installed. Did Regis just bet $5 into a $48 pot? For value. All right. 1/10 pot. GTL move by Mr. Regis. Doesn't even know it. So, Nick, all the improvements we've talked about in past streams, we have talked about getting all the additional cameras. I think I know the overhead flop cam is here. Like, I physically saw it. There's going to be Nick, I know you've played the stream, so there's going to be an additional beam that's going to be going across where the flop cam is going to mount. We have additional cameras where pretty much everybody's going to get a camera now, with the exception of maybe they're going to be bundled up like this, but mostly everybody's going to get a camera. We're going to have, with the exception of one camera that's going to look out to the floor. We're going to have better wiring for the cameras. And Eric tried to explain the letters and acronyms, why the new ones are better than the current ones. And I'm definitely not an audiovisual guy, but he says they're better, so I'm going to assume they're better. And what are the other improvements we're making to the stream? Overhead flop cam, getting a total of 8 cameras. Oh, we're getting an 8 port switch in here. So I know we've been getting issues with the camera angles. I know Eric's been sorry, let me get back to this action. Richard, ace king and a 3-bet. Gonna get 2 colors. Regis with the 7-6 suited and Duck with pocket 5s. Regis with a gutter to a straight, although Duck is double blocking that. Wow. Wow. Regis getting there on the turn. Now a diamond draw gets in. Rich has the redraw to the nut flush. I think there's a lot of chips gonna get in there. Rich does not have a lot of chips. Look for him to get all his chips in here. Maybe gonna want to try to hopefully bink the flush draw. Duck with a set of 5s, not knowing Regis hits the straight. Yeah. Ship it. Ooh, it's gonna lay it down. And Regis doesn't have a lot behind. Stack to pot ratio is about 0.8. So all his chips are getting in. Let's see if he's gonna just get it all in. Okay. I think he has more than 520. Maybe I could be wrong. Looks like about 700. Let's see a couple black chips. Oh, he's gonna lead out there. That's 500. Look at that puzzled face by Patrick, by Duck there. What's he leading out with? Definitely flushes beat him there. But there's not too many other combinations of hands that be. Yeah, and he's just going to have to make the call there. He's not going to like it when Regis flips his cards over. Yeah. And I don't blame the call, with the way that line was played by Regis. Again, we've talked about Regis's play this evening. Been taking more passive lines, pre-flop and post-flop, but really getting chips in there when he's got a made hand. So I don't blame Duck for making that call there. Again, he's probably thinking the only thing that really beats him there is a flush, and maybe he's probably running through the combinations of flush, diamond holdings that Regis has there. We're just picking up a nice little pot there. Going to be rebuilding his stack up. Yeah, so Nick, okay. For the record, overhead flop cam, a new beam to put the overhead flop cam, all this new wiring that's under my feet. There's like 7 bags of this wiring, and I think Eric said it's combined total of like 200 feet. I don't know. I probably could be lying to you also. 200 feet of wiring for better quality picture on the cameras. We're gonna have 8 total cameras now instead of the 4 that we have. I think that's it. And I think that's really phase 3. So I've talked about kind of the phases of the live stream here. This live stream equipment, well, let me rephrase that. The table and the cameras itself were in a different room, the high stakes room. So that was installed for the free roll, the $250,000 free roll here at Poker House back in February. We went silent on the live stream due to the fact that there was not enough employees that were well versed in running Action Tracker, running the Streamlabs, GFX. I'm relatively new to the live stream community and just seeing what it takes to get all this going and whatnot. It's kind of it's pretty intense. Like today I made a boo-boo. Actually, I don't think I made a boo-boo because we tried to troubleshoot the overhead table mics and we couldn't get that taken care of. So the fact that Eric wasn't able to troubleshoot that over the phone with me, I followed all the directions. I read the instructions. I have my notes. Tammy, I know you're here in Dallas. That's a long 25 minutes. Rounder, so to answer your question, I don't think there's going to be a state, well, there's state rulings precedent from many years ago regarding gambling to a certain degree, right? Obviously, I'm not an attorney. I'm a CPA, do accounting numbers by trade. I don't foresee a specific state ruling unless something happens in the next 3 to 5 years. Again, if something happens, it's going to happen at the local, the county level, the city level. And then if any of these card houses lose, they're probably going to appeal to the appellate level here in Texas. Now, I was actually going to go to law school, and I did work for an attorney for 3 years, but we did medical malpractice and civil type stuff. So we never appealed anything to. That's not true. We did appeal. A ruling one time when I was in college. I interned in college, and so I did a lot of depositions and sat in the depositions. Went to court, sat behind the attorney. But I would foresee something maybe going to the state level, the state Supreme Court level, not for probably 3 to 4 plus years. Jay here with a gutter to a straight. Nobody with much of anything. Duck with the best hand with ace high, backdoor nut flush diamond draw. Oh, turning top pair now. See if he chooses to bet now. Duck betting 65. Regis going to make a call knowing that he's drawing into just a king and a king only. Let's see if Duck tries to value bet here, if he's just going to check his option. Okay. Gonna bet, gonna get Regis to fold, gonna take down the pot. Duck having a little bit of a tough. Duck earlier on was having kind of a tough stream. Is recovered well. About 2.5 hours into the stream, so Rounder posing a question, saying that he heard about. Oops, excuse me, I accidentally knocked down the other set of headset in here. Asking about what happened to another local card room here about an issue that happened over this weekend, and asking if anybody else is worried about that happening. As far as I'm concerned, no one has brought it to my attention that they're concerned about their specific room, and at least they haven't vocalized it to me, or they haven't posted about it on social media. So with that being said, I don't know too much about that situation specifically. I am aware that it was not a city issue, but rather a county issue. So sometimes in these parts of Texas, you're going to have it's going to be a county versus city issue. So other than that, that's pretty much all I could say. That I, not because I'm withholding information, it's all because I know. And I definitely know it's a delicate situation. Handful of players here with a little bit of something pre-flop. Dan with 7-8 suited, Will with King 8 suited, and Daryl with King 7 suited, and Reed just on the button with jacks. Will and Daryl both flopping top pair, but Will out pipping Daryl by 1. Now, I don't like to play a lot of these Broadway cards with a middling other card like King 8, King 7, because when you get a flop like this, there's lots of better kings out there. Also, you could have like King 10, King 10, King Jack, Ace King. So you can't be feeling too good about King 7 of hearts, especially knowing that you don't have a lot of backdoor draws in terms of you don't have any backdoor heart draws. You really don't have any backdoor straight draws. Let's see if Regis turns his jack into a bluff here, and he is. Gonna bet about 45% pot. I like this move by Regis, both checking the flop. He has a lot of the queens there. I would have imagined if Daryl had a queen in this spot, he would have he after Will checked to him on the turn, he would have bet the queen. And this is why it's very, very difficult to play against Regis. He hasn't played, okay, he's played a lot of hands, okay, but hasn't been betting significantly. And so the hands that he has bet prior to this, he's been pretty nutted. Now here, knowing that they both checked to him with him being in position, opting to turn his jacks into a bluff. They're going to call here. Still with the best hand. 5 of hearts. Let's see what Daryl does. Let's see if Regis is gonna barrel the river. Yeah, and Regis knowing that he's got showdown value with his jacks, just elects to check the river. I would have liked to seen him barrel there. Yeah, me too, Ran. I was hoping he was gonna fire there, but didn't. I mean, Daryl reluctantly called that turn bet. I think if he would have fired there again, I think he would have definitely got him to fold. There was 856 in the pot. If he chooses a sizing, maybe like 5. 450 would have been about slightly over half pot. Maybe choose a sizing like 500, 550. Definitely would have got, especially with a 7 kicker. You know, if Daryl had a hand like maybe like Ace King, and this is, again, that's why it's really dangerous to play those types of hands, King 7, King 8 suited, even though they are suited. You can just be beat by so many more kings beat you there. Again, sorry for the sniffles, just getting over this head cold. I believe Brian's been in the box for a bit now, so I don't know if he's going to be locked in for the remainder of this stream. Regis flopping top pair. Rich with middle pair, probably going to float one street. Oh, he bet 325, okay. Basically putting them all in. Maybe trying to deny some equity against heart draws. Oh, wow, and Rich makes a call. I think Rich had less than that. It looks like it's about 150, 175. Maybe that's why he went all in, because his stack was a lot short. Oh, Rich turning 2 pair. Gets the best of Regis. Yeah, I don't think his chip count was correct. It looked like he had about 145 and some change, 150, so... Felt like he was getting a good price there. Now again, with just middle pair, no backdoor equity for a flush draw. I had a bit of a backdoor straight draw without the definitely gun runner. But getting there on the turn, spiking a 10 to get 2 pair, taking down against Regis, who's been running pretty hot as of late. Yeah, it's a little bit of a speculative call there, Rounder, but you're from South Florida. You don't know how Texas poker works. That Jack 4 call in Texas, that wouldn't have surprised me for the record. I'm going to assume that since Miss Tammy is now no longer responding in the chat, that she is now in either Dallas, Texas, or Poker House itself driving from Iowa to help us deal this tournament next week. So I'm gonna assume you're somewhere in the building or somewhere in the city, Miss Tammy. So come by the booth, come see me. Oh, Jay, pocket aces, but Jay hasn't been at the table much lately. So this is a really good hand to walk into. And again, for those of you in the chat, this is a 3-blind game. 1, 2, 5. Okay. They are not allowing straddles in this game. So the $10... Thank you, sir. The $10 bet is a blind bet. Yeah, so I don't think he looked either, Rounder. Again, I was saying this is a blind bet. So Regis 3-betting King 3 of Hearts in the hijack getting a little spicy. Everybody getting Waterburger. No one asked me if I wanted anything in the booth. I would have taken a vanilla or strawberry shake. And Eddie now in the box, now replacing Brian. Resetting the cameras. Sorry about that. And those of you in the chat, whether or not you're in the Dallas area or anywhere across the Saturday Nation, what stakes, if you play cash, what stakes do you like to play? Here at Poker House, we offer multiple different live stream cash stakes. At the bottom, and I hate saying the bottom, our more common game that we run here at Poker House is a 1, 2, 500 cap. Oh, he comes in with a 3-bet to 125. Regis likes to get sticky here. Let's see if he gets sticky. He does have top pair. We're just going to float the top pair. Going to call with a 3 kicker. He did have backdoor hearts. Doesn't really turn into additional equity. Let's see if Jay is going to put him all in here. He's going to put pretty much all in 300. Again, that's assuming Regis chip stack's correct. I would have to believe that it's bigger than that because it looks like kind of in the background there's a few black chips in a stack of, oh, and he's gonna re-rip it. And he calls. We're just hoping to spike a king or a 3 and doesn't spike it. Jay having such a good night. I'm gonna take a Waterburger break, come back blind raise with aces, and pick up an additional $825. I gotta try that sometime. Rounder asking the question in the chat saying, has any of the players offered to pay me, I don't know about me, to give them insights about their own game that you've noticed while casting? I feel like you, Rounder saying he would pay to get insights about my play. I was actually informed of a really, really, really neat idea by a viewer in the chat. If he's in the chat, I don't want to take credit for his suggestion because it's a really neat suggestion, and I don't want to say it on the chat without his permission. But it's a really, really, it's basically something along the lines of what you suggested, Rounder. And it's actually really pretty smart. So, gosh darn it. Cameras. Sorry, guys. I promise. Eric has promised me that with this new 8-port switch in the way, there's going to be. So, backtrack. Eric has been in contact with the owner of Gia FX, which is what most poker rooms that live stream across the nation use. Okay. apparently they're going to come up with some update security-wise in the whole grand scheme of what happened with the whole Robbie Garrett thing. Also, there's going to be a software update. I'm not sure when that software update's going to be, or what that software update's going to actually specifically entail. But also, hopefully with this 8-port switch, again, we're running on a 4-port switch with the 4 cameras we have. We will be able to not have to focus on rotating the camera angles as much as I have to. Right, and that's another neat suggestion. So I know Captain Underpairs, he had let me know that he was coming in to play on Monday, left him an all-day free pass back. And Ryan, I'll tell you what, if you come from South Florida, I promise, I made a deal with you that we'd have a hotel partnership over the next month, right? If you come down here, depending on how long you come here, I will get you an all-day free pass, free daily membership, free all-day pass play. You've been probably one of the most active viewers in the chat, so I really appreciate that, keeping us engaged. I know y'all can hear the table chat a bit. It's not very clear. Again, we tried to get Eric to troubleshoot this video via video conference call. I actually know a guy that's playing at Seminole Hard Rock. I think they have some one-day tournaments going on. Randy, I think you're on. That looks like Twitch. I didn't even have a Twitch, for the record. I literally just have Facebook. Yeah, I have a buddy that's playing. Gosh, I think he's at Seminole right now. It's at Tampa. He's playing a $2,200 one-day event number 9, $2,200 bucks, 100K guarantee. I don't know if that's part of the. I think it's Seminole. He's right now. Maybe it's Tampa. I'm not sure. That is Seminole. My bad. Will here with top pair. Now I keep on making it a priority to look down at the camera. It's supposed to rotate every 8 seconds, so. See if Will continues to barrel. He's had a little bit of a tough night. He tried to make some moves, tried the 3-bet ace-4 of diamonds on the button against Frankie's Open, got reshoved on. Tried to 3-bet ace-5 offsuit against Duck's Open when he had aces. So he has the right idea, just picking the wrong spots, and not because he's just not playing well. It's just unfortunate to when he tries to make these moves that players have better hands in him. So. Oh, so Tampa has something? Yeah. I was informed that I think a buddy of mine, I talked to him actually on the phone today. he was driving down there to play this one event. He played yesterday. He said I talked to him today. He said he busted aces versus ace king. I think the flop was, I think the guy turned Broadway or River Broadway. I don't remember the full hand history, he told me. No one asked me if I wanted. No one asked me if I wanted a Whataburger. Cash money with ace jack, gonna raise it to 20. Opting not to blind bet, just going ahead and opening to 20. Hasn't played in a ton of hands. Obviously, he was not sitting down for a bit, but now he is, and gonna open ace jack offsuit. Regis 3-betting him under the gun +1 to 125. Pretty big sizing for a 3-bet. I'm probably going to fold all the way around, and cash money's probably going to fold here. He doesn't look like he wants to call, though. It's a pretty big 3-bet, though. Non-standard sizing. It is a 2-minute walk to Whataburger. Oh, and Will calls him? Okay. Will with a pretty speculative call to... There's an early position open and an early position 3-bet. Will's defending the button with 7-9 suited, flopping middle pair. See if he comes in for a check raise. I'm just going to call. Yeah, it looks like he's carving out chips for a check raise. I haven't seen that move from Mr. Regis this evening with check raise, so yeah, gonna snap fold there. And again, like, I don't mind playing those types of hands. You know, if you're gonna open them, if you're gonna, you know, call a middle position, late position raise on the button. That's 7-9 suited is a hand you're typically not gonna want to play from an EP open and an EP 3-bet. Yeah, Rounder, Regis is getting a little spicy. Again, the very first time that I played against Regis is just getting back in the swing of things, playing Texas poker after being in Vegas for a bit. You know, he fits the typical OMC category. He made a move on me. I was like, this guy just doesn't have any bluffs here. He just doesn't. And so, you know, I mean, begrudgingly, I don't remember the hand, but begrudgingly laid the hand down, folded again to him later on. And I noticed, you know, paid attention a little more to his play. Thought to myself, I think I folded incorrectly both times. Frankie getting back in the mix. I think everybody's done with their Whataburger break. I think that's probably why some of these players took a little break, took a little dinner break. Actually, rather, my buddy just texted me, said he finished six for 6K in that tournament. So, Poker Monkey, good for you. Thank you for joining the chat. Late addition to the chat. Hope you're having a good evening. Rich flopping top pair with queen kicker on the button. Gonna bet 60% pot. Decent sizing. Gonna get folds. Not much worse is gonna call you there. Shouldn't be too many twos in any of these guys' hands range. Maybe some backdoor spades, running spades, but he did have the queen of spades. And Tammy, here finally. When you say here finally, here in Dallas finally or Poker House finally? I've known Miss Tammy for what, a good 4 or 5 days via the chat. Letting us know that she's traveling all the way down from Iowa to deal Danielle's birthday bash this upcoming week. Again, for those of you interested in this tournament, is a $150K guarantee. $500 buy-in, $420 going to the prize pool, $80 going to admin fee, staff fees. Tournament starts next Thursday, Friday, Saturday. There's going to be 2 flights, 30-minute levels. Flights start at 10 a.m. all 3 days. Second flight of the day starts at 4 p.m. And let me double check that before I tell you guys incorrectly. $10 a.m., 4 p.m. Yep, correctly. 30-minute levels. Start off with 40,000 chips. Now, starting this Saturday, we will be running multiple satellites going in to day 1 next Thursday. So you're going to have a number of chances to qualify for a seat for this tournament. So, Daryl with 2 pair here. Small pot. I'm going to bet 60 into pot 147. Will going to call it down with ace high. There are pre-flop raise percentages. Will with 24%, Duck 20%, Dan, Cash Money, Darrow less than 10%, Rich with 10%. So not a lot of action pre-flop. Again, I said this a couple times already. This is a game that's been going on about 6-7 months now. Obviously, the outer tables before we put them on the live stream, and so I have been told that there's a lot of action in this game. And various streams have showed me, hey. And I have Miss Tammy stepping in the booth. You want to come in real quick? How you doing? I'm Ed. You want to come in? And straight from Iowa, we have Miss Tammy. And your name, sir? Tom. Tom? Nice to meet you. So I have the new. You want to jump on the headset? Maybe, maybe not. You're good, Pat. You probably hear me through yours. Yeah, you quite hear. Yeah. So live from Poker House Dallas, Miss Tammy from Iowa. How was the drive? Long. Okay, I'm gonna get back to you. I got some action I got to commentate on. Will under the middle position with aces opens, I think, to 40. Cash money out of the small blind. Gonna 3-bet Jack 10 suited. Is a very good candidate to 3-bet out of the small blind Jack 10 suited. Coming back to Will, the cold 4-bet to 540. Is Cash money gonna want to get it in? No, he's gonna fold here. I like the move. It's a really good hand that you can 3-bet, especially if you're gonna play it. Again, Will's been. He's been been having a lot of action pre-flop. Saw him earlier raise 3-bet ace-4 diamonds on the button. Also tried to make a move with ace-5 offsuit, middle position to an early position open. So this time he actually just has it. So getting Jack to fold there out of the small blind to his 3-bet open. Yeah, I agree, Rounder. It's a bad time for Gel to make a move. Again, I like the move. It's a really good hand candidate to 3-bet, especially being out of position to a later position raise. To a player profile like Will, who's been kind of opening wide and 3-betting wide. So I agree. So tell us about the drive.
Oh, it wasn't. I mean, it was just long, but
How long was
we
the drive?
got here into town and it took us like clear the wrong way.
Okay.
And so yeah.
Was the exit to Regal Row block? Were y'all coming from that way, or this?
We came north on 35 at the end.
Okay. Yeah. So you came north. Okay.
It's like stay right, and then all of a sudden, or stay left, and then all of a sudden, after you pass the guardrail where you can't
Yeah.
go right, oh, stay to the right. Too late.
So you guys can hang around in the booth, and about 30 minutes will probably be done. You guys been shown around here yet?
Nobody even knew we were coming, apparently.
Okay, I'll tell you what. Ladies and gentlemen in the chat, I'm going to take a 2-minute break. I'm going to walk out. I'm going to introduce Miss Tom, correct? Tom to some of the staff here, get her situated. So so when do you start? Whenever they tell you to start? Yeah, I know they're all flying back. Well, Eric tried to troubleshoot. You heard me. I was trying to troubleshoot the overhead mics with, I do numbers, spreadsheets, Excel. That didn't end up happening. Oh, players got a little bit of something. Regis flopping top pair king kicker. Jay with with middle pair ace kicker. Regis gonna check raise. Regis been playing a little aggressive this evening. Played a little passively earlier. Router, you and I were talking about taking passive lines, for the first hour and a half. The past hour or so, been getting pretty aggressive with his holdings. And Jay cannot like this. I mean, he has middle pair. There's not too much he's beating. And for Regis to check raise into 2 people, that's just a really strong line. Gonna get Jay to fold and Daryl to fold. Mr. Regis. Mr. Regis is one of the original OGs here at Poker House Dallas. Ladies and gentlemen, give me a couple seconds. Gonna step out in the booth. Back to action here.
Rich with 4 deuce of clubs. Will with 4 3 of clubs. On a flop of ace, king, king. Nobody with much of anything. Rich making a move and getting Will to fold. Folding the best hand. Here we go with a cumulative winnings. Jay with over 4K. Nobody with nothing significant here. Dan with ace, suited wheel ace. Will with queen 8. The third blind. Daryl with a suited connect there. Rich with a king 6 suited. So probably not going to be a significant ton of action. Pre-flop. Now with a flop coming, Frankie flopping top pair with just a 4 kicker. Rich with the the most equity. Flopping it over, backdoor, straight draw, flush draw. Rich getting there on the turn with king high flush. Let's see how he proceeds with his hand. Rich gonna bet 75. Regis gonna call. With the queen high flush draw. Probably gonna get heads up to the river. Rich kind of coming on as a coming on strong as of late. Board pairs. Rich probably checking there to try to induce a bluff maybe from Regis. I don't think he's probably too worried about that board pairing 5. There's not too many 5x combos that would complete. A full house unless he's putting Regis on hand like pocket 10s, pocket deuces, pocket jacks. So I'll tell you what's really neat, especially being in the booth. I get a lot of text and I get a lot of messages directly and indirectly about how we're doing well here as a live stream, especially a young live stream. So as y'all know, for majority, I'm not going to sit here and like, oh, wow, I'll go into that. This is going to be a very, very action flop. Pre-flop, Duck with kings versus aces for Rich. Again, Rich picking up late. This reminds me of a hand a couple weeks ago where Duck had kings pre-flop against against Frankie, who had aces, and they got it all in on the flop. Yeah. It's the second time in 2 weeks that Duck has run kings into aces. Duck's been playing so well this evening. I think had a cooler spot earlier in the stream. They are going to run it twice. I believe 2 full boards.
Excuse me. Gosh, this is going to be so cool when we get that overhead flop cam. You got to bring it down. There you go. Scan it. There you go. Flop not bringing much for anybody. For Duck, he's going to need a king. Rich taking the first board. Here comes the second full board. 9-8-7. Both rivering a full house, but Rich with the best of it, rivering 8s full of aces over Duck's 8s full of kings. Gonna pick up a nice little double up. And here are VPIP percentages again, knowing that Regis likes to see a lot of flops, has the highest VPIP. 76% Rich with 57%, Duck 50%. Three lowest Jay, Cash Money, and Dan at 30%, 23%, and 17% respectively. Gonna have another half hour left in this stream. We're just getting sticky with 5-3 offsuit after an open from Cash Money, who hasn't played a ton of hands, so very speculative call there from Regis. From middle position, especially with a lot of action behind. Let's see someone get spicy and decides to 3-bet. Yeah, and Jay getting a little spicy here, making the 3-betting King Queen off, going to try to thin the field. And I'm going to see who's going to call here. Maybe Frankie? No, he's going to fold, and Duck's going to fold. It's going to get everybody to fold. It's going to pick up a lot of dead money. And a good fold. Jay with the timely 3-bet. Again, that's a really good hand. Good candidate to 3-bet. You're blocking a lot of premium type holdings. Blocking pocket kings, blocking pocket queens, blocking a hand like ace king, blocking a hand like ace queen. So using his image, again, the hands that Jay has played this evening have been premium type holdings. Again, got in those got aces twice, 2 or 3 times today. Picked up some nice little pots. Captain Underpairs joined the chat. Thank you for joining. What state are you in right now? And are you on the road? Like right now, driving? Excuse me. Ducking the hijack, going to be raising it to $20 with ace-9 suited. Let's see if we're going to go Texas heads up. It looks like we are going Texas heads up. Going to be going 7 to the flop. And this is what you have to deal with playing in Texas sometimes. Queen Jack. Let's see. I have to look through all the hands to see who has the best holding. And that is Jay with 2 pair. Flopping 2 pair with backdoor hearts as well. Rich flopping top pair with a king kicker. Duck with the backdoor nut flush draw. Jay with a big bet. Again, you have to take into consideration as a player. A player like Jay's been playing really strong hands, betting into a field of 7. So you know that he's repping maybe a set of deuces, queen jack. Shouldn't theoretically have jack deuce there. Okay, now flops up, turns a even bigger hand. See if he sizes up here. Oh, I think he just got the pot. Picks up $300. Who knew the good old jack deuce? And I don't know if they're playing the jack 4 game or the 7 deuce game. I think there were talks about it earlier when I was announcing the live stream rules. Again, some of the live stream rules, kind of want to go over those with you in the chat. So put these, implemented these, quote unquote, officially. Actually, that's not the most current one, at least the most organized one. So I'll read that. I'll read our live stream rules off to you. I'm hoping by Thursday or Friday, which is tomorrow. Hoping by Saturday, when I'm back in the booth, can be taking tomorrow off. Got to get a lot of work done. Got a deadline coming up, so yeah. I figure, Cup, if you're typing this much, you better not be on the road. Co-Drivers Drive, we are westbound about 2 hours west. So you're coming back east, sounds like. Because if you were in LA or New Mexico yesterday, or whatever it was, you're coming back this way. And then I think you're going to head back out, right? Around there's multiple hands where there's family pots. If you can get a hand heads up in 1-2, or this 1-2-5 game, that means everybody had really crappy hands. Or you 3-bet the crap out of it, or 4-bet the crap out of it pre-flop. Dan flopping the straight flush draw, gutter draw, also has a straight draw to go along with that, flopping a lion's share of this equity. Pretty disguised hand. Now again, with a lot of these bet calls, this is a lot of people probably hit this. Okay, so you're west of San Antonio, so you're going west. Okay. We are westbound, which means you are west of San Antonio. Hi-ya. No one with a 7 here on the turn. Probably these players thinking that one of these players has a 7 holding. Turning trips. Let's see if Dan... Okay, Frankie bets. Thinking his ace deuce is best here. Dan's probably definitely going to have to peel one. Will making a move. Let's see what Dan decides to do here. Could be putting Will in a hand like A7. There's not too many A7 combos. Again, we've seen him play a lot of unsuited combinations. Yeah, gonna make the call here. See if Dan gets there. The 3 gets there with a 3. Probably gonna let him blast off, and I like that check back there. Probably not putting Dan on 6-5 specifically. Probably putting him on a diamond draw. I like the check back as well. Let's see what sizing he comes to. I'm gonna probably make, doesn't need to make it too big, maybe 900, 950. Don't want to make it too small to make it look too valuable, but you also don't want to make it too big. Again, Will doesn't have anything, won't be able to call, but interested to see what sizing Dan's gonna use with this check raise on the river after drilling a straight. Now he could be concerned about a full house, and I don't think he's too concerned. Maybe he just calls here because there's not much that's going to be beating him. Dan in the tank. I don't know if he's putting him again. There's not too many 2-pair combos that, and he does come back with a check raise. Can make it about 650, 750. Yeah, there's not too many 2-pair combos that Will should have. Again, we don't say should here in Texas because shoulda, woulda, cut any calls. Oh, and he reshoves. I'm not sure what Will was thinking in that. Dan hasn't played too many hands, and he check calls, turn, check raises a river. What check raise or bluffs does Dan have on the river? Pretty much. Did I misspeak, Rounder? Yeah, I like the sizing. If I misspoke, my bad. I like the min raise or slightly above min raise. I like the min raise there. Yeah, again, in spots like that, especially on the river, you don't see too many check raise bluffs on the river, especially with that specific run out. Especially if you're reshoving with king high. Now, if he had maybe a hand like A7 suited, that reshove may make sense. Oh, okay. You're talking about why? Yeah. Okay. I was like, did I misspeak on that something? That's an interesting rejam. Not sure what Nick was thinking in that spot. Again, Dan hasn't been playing too many hands, and normally, especially at the river, if you're watching players, you don't see too many check raise min bluffs on the river. So I think him making it small there induced a reshove from Will and pretty much getting a significant portion of his chips. Dan, you're welcome for getting booted out of the boot. Dan, you're welcome for getting booted out of the stream. Take a portion of your proceeds. Buy me a pizza. Yeah, Nick, that was a really nice move. I really like that play by Dan there. Definitely got max value. Will continue going to get spicy. Going to make raise to 50 in the hijack with a suited wheel ace. Cash Money's probably going to call. Probably going to get Jay to call. You're surprised with a call by Will? Or are you talking about you're surprised by the rejam? Yeah, the rejam. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure the whole purpose of the rejam there. Cash Money turning a little bit of equity here. Now this is a board that really hits Cash Money's range. Yeah. I like the lead. I actually like the lead on the river. Now I'll tell you what. Against some players, that lead on the river is good there because I think a lot of players will think, okay, I have ace. I have an ace, but I don't have a great kicker, right? And Cash Money hasn't been playing a ton of hands. That's a board and a run at that favors his calling range out of the big blind. And so trying to represent maybe 2-pair set there. Now again, after what just transpired with Danny against Bill may be a little bit on tilt there. Again, I don't hate the open pre-flop with the ace three of hearts. Now, with that being said, if Jack was putting him on an ace or trying to blow him off a weaker ace, I just don't think at this point in the stream with the way Will has played that he's going to fold any ace in that specific scenario. So, I like the move by Cash Money. Probably against the wrong player after losing a big hand. After a big hand is probably going to call any ace there, not even factoring in the board texture or the run out, knowing that that's a board that favors Cash Money's big blind defending range. Oh, the rejam, yeah. Nick says, I think he had more equity than he had. I think that he's talking about Will now. I think he thought he had more equity than he had, which was none. Look, we're not jamming Will, but yeah, it was a puzzling play. Cash Money getting spicy out of the small with a King 4 trying to make some moves. And again, Cash Money has not played many hands. The hands that he has played, he's been pretty nutted. So for him to make this move, it's got to send some alarm bells to some of these players on the table. Yeah, Renner, he had a lot of the 7-6s, 7-8s, 6-8s. Could definitely have pocket 7s, pocket 6, pocket 8s. Now, if he actually really did have one of those combos of 7-6 suited, 6-8 suited, pocket 7s, pocket 6s, probably would have sized up more on the river to specifically target an ace. Yeah, and here around there's one of these scenarios where when you play a top pair and you have a weak kicker, you just don't like it when you bet and you get called. Talked about this early in the stream about an hour ago. Playing these weak kings, whether in position or out of position, just don't feel too good even if you hit the flop unless you specifically hit 2-pair. Small sizing, very value heavy. 190 to 515. Just slightly under 40% pot. Could be setting up a river jam. Stack to pot ratio now is going to be about 0.8. So 1. Yeah, and I've just been joined in the booth by Mr. Dan, which means they are done streaming. So he is not coming in here watching his hands while he plays. So I like that little little double up you had there against Will. I like your little min raise. I like your little min raise there.
That was purely to induce a bluff.
Yeah.
He never has a full house there.
Yeah, and I talked about that.
That was a fun hand.
Yeah, there's not too many.
I did it weird. Like, everyone else at the table would c-bet that flop.
Right.
I was like, multi-way, I want this equity.
Right. I mean, you flopped a straight flush draw.
I know.
Then get there on the river.
Maybe I should just be piling in on a flop like that.
I mean, and that's such a. Dan, you have Nick's number, right?
Of course I have Nick's
yeah,
number.
he wants me to give his number. I'm going to give him a call after the stream's over in the next 15 minutes. So walk me through that hand.
Oh, have him give you mine. Yeah. Give Ed your number. Yeah, of course, Nick. Walk you through the 6-5 hand?
Yeah.
So that flop is just so bad for my range multi-way.
Yeah. Now, I'm not going to lie. I didn't see the pre-flop action. All
I
saw
opened. There was like limp.
Gotcha.
I think I opened in the cutoff.
Yeah, there was like seven ways to the flop, 6 ways to the flop.
I got called like by 6 people, I think.
By 13?
5 or 6 people.
13 players to the flop, something like that?
No. There was actually only 4. The pot was 120 on that flop, and I checked it. The turn was a 7. Frankie led. I think he had 8s or something.
Okay.
I didn't see his cards, but he said that he led. Oh no. He was super light. He had a deuce.
Okay, that's right. He had ace deuce of spades.
Ace deuce of spades.
He had ace deuce of spades.
Okay,
I remember that specifically.
Did spades pick up on the turn?
No, because
there wasn't a second spade on the turn.
I don't think it was ace deuce of spades. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. I do know that Nick had king 5 of spades. This is what the hand he jammed with. He re-jammed with.
Do you mean Will?
Will. What did I say?
You said Nick. You
Nick.
just commented.
Yeah, Nick.
Nick had king 5. Okay, yeah.
King 5 of spades. Did he table?
No.
Yeah.
He did. When I showed the 6-5, I was like, a full house is good. I rivered the straight, and he just mucked.
Yeah, and there's not too many full house combos. He has their pocket 4s, pocket 3s, or whatever it was. He's not going to have 7. I mean, so he's not supposed to have like 7-4 combos, right? 7-4 combo, 3 deuce combos. I don't remember the specific board. I know that there was a 7-7-4 out there.
I don't think he checks back the flop if he flops a set on that board. 6 ways or 4 ways or whatever. So when Frankie bets real small on the turn, I think it was 30 into 120 or 35 or something.
Quarter pot.
I can just flat for my equity and getting the right price.
Right.
And then,
did you ever think about raising it?
I did.
Okay.
And I didn't want to with the 7 out there.
Gotcha.
Because I'm getting called by everything.
Right.
And I'd rather take my equity. Well, I'm getting called by all 7s, which is hopefully most of his leading range.
That's right. On the flop, it was 7 high, and then the turn is a 7. So it pairs the board. I do remember that.
Yes.
And then you drill it up. You drill it on the river.
Caught a 3 on the river. So the turn raise from Will was to like 135.
Okay.
And I'm still getting the right price. With 12 outs, I've got about 25% equity. I'm getting it at least 3 to 1.
Yeah.
And I want to make my hand and then do something weird on that river, right? And so when I bank it on the river, I catch the straight. I was like, he is always betting that river.
Right. So you checked to induce a bluff.
I checked. He bet. I think it was 3.
I think it was
325. 300?
300, and I think you made it 700. You just slightly above min clicking it.
Yes. I did make it 700, and then he must have thought I was...
Oh, he bet 325, right? I said 325.
He bet 325, I made it 700.
Yeah.
So, like, a little more than a min click.
Yeah.
And he thought I was just...
Trying to make a
being
move.
weird. He thought I was being weird, making a move, thinking he didn't have anything, and, like, everything got there. Well, not everything. None of the flushes got there.
Yeah.
But... his jam is interesting. Where...
Yeah. Unless he thought you missed diamonds.
I got to ask him, does he... Like, he told me at the table he thought that check raise was a bluff. and that me making it so small makes it look like I have it. I don't know. It's a weird spot. I would love to know what Frankie thinks about all that action in that hand.
Yeah,
He definitely wouldn't have done the same thing.
It was definitely an unorthodox rejam on the river. Because, yeah, you made the sizing small.
So the thing is,
you don't see too many
with the pot odds. Like I knew what would happen if he. This is dumb. This is a bad play. But like, I think that's typically a. I think theoretically, that should be a raise fold with the paired board if he jams. But I'm still getting the right price to call, and it's Will. Like, me and Will battle, and he makes moves.
Yeah. I mean, I've noticed
so
that.
I just can't, like, that's the top of my range that I get there with. So my defense frequency, I can't fold a straight there.
Yeah. Like I said, there's not too many full house. Like, he'd have to have pocket fours, pocket whatever, pocket threes, and he's
he
probably
would
not
have to check back a set on the flop, and I don't think he does that.
And I think it was the 3 that made you the straight on the river, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So he's not
3,
going to
4,
have
5, 6, 7.
Yeah, and he's not going to have pocket threes. He's not going to float flop turn, pre-flop flop and turn to drill. But threes full. They just shouldn't have, but it's Texas.
Well, I wanted to get back in here to thank everybody for watching, and thanks for having me in. And a weird circumstance where Patrick or Duck had to pull me into the game early.
Yeah.
There was like a family emergency or something. So
he had to leave?
Matt had to leave, and then Chase left because I think he got stacked again.
Okay.
But that'll happen.
Okay, so for those of you
and
in the
we
chat.
moved into the side room because the stream is over.
Yeah.
I think. But yeah, they're waiting on me, and well, I gotta go take my seat basically.
Do me a favor.
Yeah, thanks, dude.
I'll walk in there after this. After I said my goodbyes. Thank everybody for being in the chat. Go in there and grab Nick's number from.
Oh, thanks for having me.
So, Mr. Dan Simone, part commentator, part poker player. So thank you very much for coming here, explain that hand. Thank you for thanking the viewers. I will come in there and say my goodbyes afterwards. After I get this all shut down. So there you have it. Mr. Dan explaining that really big win against Will about 15, 20 minutes ago. And I did not gonna lie, I don't know what happened on this hand. So, but Will and Daryl chopping. No one likes a chop pot. Anybody that says that's a liar. Unless you get it in bad and then chop. That's okay. And again, viewers, thank you for tuning into the chat. Look for a Facebook post either tomorrow or Saturday about our 2-5 game. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a 2-5 VPIP game. I think we had talked about streaming from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Oh, actually, I take that back. We may do it longer. We actually may go like 4 to 10. I totally forgot that we are not running our usual Saturday tournament. We're running the satellite. Usually we have a Saturday 3 p.m. $280 buy-in tournament for the $7,500 guarantee. We are not running it this Saturday because we are running the first of many satellites. Well, not the first. I'm sorry. We've been running satellites every Tuesday for the past month now. So this is going to be the first of daily satellites that we're running for the 150K Danielle birthday bash. That starts next Thursday. Again, if you haven't had a chance to check out Poker House, come on by. Tell them the Asian Sensation sent you. Right now, we still have Duck's game going on that has now moved to the private room. We have 6 1-2 tables and 2 5 bomb pot tables. And I think Chris May's tournaments. I think maybe one of these days we want to stream his tournament. He asked about streaming his tournament, so hopefully we're gonna get an opportunity to make that happen. Yeah, and you see all the players getting the racks. Gonna probably play 1 or 2 more hands. So this is Chris Mace Tuesday. I don't even know what day it is. Thursday tournament, $200 buy-in, 3K guarantee. The guarantee hit $6,800. So 7 players remaining out of a total of 41 players, and 2,300 up top. Yeah, Nick. Once give me, you're gonna be. It's like 10:15, maybe 10:45ish or so. 11 o'clock. You're gonna be up for a talk if you want to chat. It's gonna, I gotta shut everything down and go through the proper protocol. Shut down my stuff that's out there. Say my goodbyes. Regis three betting. Pocket 8s to $75 in the cutoff, getting spicy towards the end of the stream. Again, started the stream off very passive. Took a more limp calling range, limping a lot of plots. Oh, whoa. We have a lot of good hands here pre-flop. Jay with ace king. Looking to continue to run good, running really well this evening. I just don't see Regis folding a pocket pair of pre-flop. Got it. Yeah, Regis is not the type of player to fold a pocket pair pre-flop, even to a 4-bet. So let's see what happens here. I think this is probably the last hand. It's going to be interesting. Now this is a board that I believe Jay has the range. Oh, did he just rip it? I think he's just going to have to call here. He's got to overpair to the board. Let's see if he calls. We just really wanted to call. Is he gonna do? He does the rack call. It pushes the rack towards him. Oh, and Jay gets there on the turn. The correct call by Regis, and just gets sucked out on there on the turn. What a great call by Regis, knowing that he's probably pushing the hand like ace, king, ace, queen. And again, the rich getting richer. Jay stacking Mr. Regis, finishing the stream with almost nearly 7.5K. What a stream! What a stream by Jay, buying it for 1,000, making 7.5x. His buy-in. If I were him, I'm going home. I'm gonna go sleep, get some rest, rack up, go home. Now I'll tell you what. Just because Mr. Regis got felted there, I promise he's going to that side room. Promise. So excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. That looks like that's going to be it for the stream. And so we are going to wrap it up. Yeah, no doubt. Usually he gets killed. Yeah, Nick. You know, I tell you what. Mr. Regis is good for the action. And so he likes to give action. And it's really tough to it's really tough to play against a player like Regis. Well, I'll be honest. It's tough to play against a lot of these players at the tables because some of these players have uncapped ranges. Now, Jay and a player like Frankie and a player like Cash Money have more capped ranges. But if you're going to mix in a player like Will, player like Daryl, player like Regis, it's really hard to narrow their range down, especially pre-flop, because they're going to be calling with a wider variety of hands and getting a lot of hands in pre-flop. Again, you saw Regis with, I think the last time the VPIP statistics showed, had about 76% VPIP. Daryl was about 50-something%. So Hopefully Jay doesn't drop any of those chips walking over there. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for the chat this evening. I think we're going to be taking tomorrow off, and then we probably need to just double check. We're going to run our 2-5 VPIP game. Yeah, he has a lot of experience playing poker. Yeah, it was a good read by call. I like the rack the put in the whole rack snap call by Regis there. So that's gonna do it for us at the stream. Thank you again for tuning in to Poker House Dallas. Hopefully gonna be streaming this Saturday. I foresee us if we're gonna run a schedule on Saturday. Don't quote me on this. I think we're going to do a 6-hour stream, but I don't know if it's going to be from 2 to 8 or if it's going to be from 4 to 10 with the VPIP game. So, ladies and gentlemen, Nick, Rounder, everybody else in the chat, have a good evening. And that's it for us here at Poker